Dear God, please don't let me relapse and return to the evil that men do. Father God, I pray and ask that you help me to have mercy on others the same way I would want you to have mercy on me. Father God, I also ask that you help me to be quick to forgive and slow to get angry. Amen, amen, amen. These young dudes out here don't respect shit until you put the barrel in their ear and let the text spit. I just might catch a case on my next hit, remove their whole face on some special effect shit. So show respect, Drake, or I'ma have a flashback. Digging through the dresser like fuck it, where my mask at? The mash back with the banger and damage shit and say fuck everything I learned in anger management. Hop back on some east side managed shit and push a nigga's top back when I let the cannon spit. Start planning shit, premeditation. I'm in love with the streets again, rededication. Casket or cremation when I shoot you down. I was built for the smoke like a hookah lounge. I keep big shit that sound like a bazooka sound, and I shoot quicker than ain't gotta be a hoop around. Dear God, please don't let me relapse and return to the G-Ride, 3 straps, ski mask with the case, squeezing keys apps, spraying everything from a nigga's brain to his kneecaps. Dear God, please don't let me relapse and return to the G-Ride with the 3 straps, ski mask with the case, squeezing keys apps, spraying everything from a nigga's brain to his kneecaps. Gun on me, it ain't never for show, homie. I'm far from a bully, but I'm never a hoe. Get out of line, my Beretta will blow. Real talk, we can take the beef wherever we go. I bring it to your front door like I'm Uber Eats. I guarantee you listen up when this Ruger speaks. Plus I maneuver through these streets like a ghost, and I'm handy with the heat. I cook a nigga like a roast. On me, homie, this is not a boast. I will still come through, boy, and stop a nigga's post. Play him close, man, Eric will ease it. Quickly off the waistband, man, and Eric will squeeze it. Leave you niggas laid out dead or paraplegic. Niggas playing in these streets while I'm very strategic. I come to your house dressed like the gas man. Shoot you 9 times, leave you stretched by the trash can. Dear God, please don't let me relapse and return to the G-Ride with 3 straps, a ski mask with the case, squeezing keys apps, spraying everything from a nigga's brain to his kneecaps. Dear God, please don't let me relapse and return to the G-Ride with 3 straps, a ski mask with the case, squeezing keys apps, spraying everything from a nigga's brain to his kneecaps. I don't put shit on Facebook, I just holler in person. Put the pistol in your mouth while you holler and cursing. All that shit you kept rehearsing and put on your live. Got your clap with the big 4-5. You bitch nigga, if you tell me to pull up, I'ma do that. That nigga who was whooping first nigga that I shoot at. Ski mask on my face, bystanders be like, who that? I ain't with the talking, bitch boy, I thought you knew that. Leave his brains where my shoe at and bounce like I'm on a trampoline. Leave you laid out, nigga, like you camping on the scene. If you want something sweet, grab a peach or tangerine. Niggas won't smoke, well fuck it, I'ma let them handle steam. AR with the beam, you see the red dot? We tug on this trigger, nigga, it'll make your head pop. Blood pouring down to your shoes, call it Red Sox. Your brains hanging all over your shoulders like some dreadlocks. Expect the gang of dead off if they ever cross the line. The Lord said in the Bible, oh, revenge is mine. So I'm just trying to find a righteous path between the two. Before I lose control and do the shit I used to do. This being humble shit is new. I'm trying to turn the other cheek, but I ain't never been a bitch, so watch your mouth when you speak. Your mercy's what I seek, so I pray on bended knees. Don't let me get the K with the extended clip and squeeze. Lord, please. Dear God, please don't let me relapse and return to the G-Ride with 3 straps, a ski mask with the case, squeezing keys apps, spraying everything from a nigga's brain to his kneecaps. Dear God, please don't let me relapse and return to the G-Ride with 3 straps, a ski mask with the case, squeezing keys apps, spraying everything from a nigga's brain to his kneecaps.
All right, y'all, that was Brother Eric, better known as 16 to Life. Y'all know my spiel on Brother Eric. Good dude, man. Go on over to his page, 16 to Life, and you can hear some really funny stories, or you can go over to his website, 16tolife.com, and you can get you some merch. I got the Yard Down t-shirt. I got the Yard Down pullover. Going over there, you can check that out for sure. Yeah, man, shout out to Brother Eric. I gotta get in touch with Brother Eric, man. I got some stuff I gotta work with him on, man, and we just haven't connected back up, man. This is a good dude, man. Good brother, man. Very solid cat, man. Very solid cat. Did 24 years out there in the prison system out there in California, and is very very solid individual, man. Shout out to brother Eric. All right, all right, y'all. We're gonna get right into it, man, because we got so much to do today, and this one probably won't be a long one today, man, because we got yesterday we did 7 hours. Holy smokes, 7 hours, man. We did 7 hours. So today probably we probably gonna lighten the load, man. Before we get started, man, Risa said she had some family members that was a family member that was, ill. So I want you, if you guys are praying people, man, put your prayers out there to Risa Neal's family, man. You know what I'm saying? She had some, I think she had said she had a sister that was having some issues, man. So shout out to Sister Risa Neal, man, and her family. Hope they, able to, have a full recovery. Also, we got some information on the brother Jerome Davison, man, out there in Arizona running for Congress out there, the black brother. And, he fell ill real quick, man, all of a sudden, like, and so I think they're still trying to figure out what's going on. But luckily, Patrice is in his camp heavy, so she got some video from the man, speaking from his bedside. So we hear from his own mouth how he's doing. Right? Shout out to the brother, man. Prayers go out to the brother. Prayers go out to Freezy's family. No captivity with Freezy, man. You know what I'm saying? If you praying person. Shout out to Lady Q in the building. Good to see you in the building, Sister Quantum. Yeah, man. So this just if you're praying, man, just shout out, man. We spend too much time cracking each other instead of praying for each other. And I know sometimes people say, you got people like Patrice sometimes will say, well, I'm not necessarily affiliated with any type of religion. So what? Pray for them anyway, right? just ignore them. I ignore Patrice. I pray for her anyway. I don't care, right? People like her, Rico, I'm not particularly affiliated with no particular. Okay. I just say, okay, yeah, and then I, saying something. I feel like I should pray for him. I just do. You know what I'm saying? Or whoever. Shit, my granddaughter ain't even got the concept. I mean, she say her prayers. She ain't got the overall concept of God and everything, but I pray for her, right? Shout out to MK in the building. Glad to have you in the building, sis. Good to see you. Good to see you on a bright and beautiful Sunday, right? Oh, there he is. There he is, the dinosaur himself, Von Bryant. Good to have you in the building, my brother. Good to have you in my building. You know what? Shout out to Von Bryant, man. Von Bryant, he came in, man. It's such a difference to see Von when he first started hanging around till now. He first came in, he was like, well, I'll just say this. And now, man, Von be like, what? You youngins, sit down. I'm gonna tell you this. But we don't want to listen to you, Von. That's okay. You're gonna listen anyway, right? Shout out to Von, man. Von getting stronger and stronger every day, man. Shout out to Von. Good to have you in the building, my brother. Okay. So yeah, man, if you're a praying person, you know what I'm saying? Whatever your faith is, you want to call it a faith or whatever, just, look out for your brothers and your sisters. You know what I'm saying? Right? They may not be affiliated with your particular faith, but that don't mean you can't send them off a prayer, right? That's what I do. I ignore all of it, man. I'm supposed to be Muslim, right? And I have Christian people in my life or in my family and other people, man, or people that don't espouse to no particular religion. They say, oh, man, I don't really. I say, oh, okay, yeah, no problem. They have an issue. I'll send a prayer for them, right? Shout out to Marcus. Marcus in the building, man. Marcus didn't get a chance to step his toe in. I know he wanted to yesterday. But, I guess he saw that, Marcus is a smart cat, man. He saw there was a lot going on, man. He said, man, let me just let them work that out. So shout out to Brother Marcus. Appreciate you, man. Marcus is in the building. Okay, so let's get right to it, y'all, man, because I'm not gonna be here long today. We did 7 hours yesterday, and I'm still whooped off of that. But shout out to Black Man Unfiltered and the BMU crew. They came over represented yesterday, man. We kind of we had hammered a little bit. Some of the stuff out we hammered out. You know what I'm saying? And so but what we did hammer out, which was good, was there ain't no hard feelings on neither side, man. There ain't no hard feelings on neither side. Nobody got no beef or smoke or none of that stuff. They gonna go do what they gonna do. They probably over there clowning me right now, but hey, I can take that. I can take a joke. Shout out to Brother Darrell Long. Brother Darrell Long. Brother Darrell Long is the one that taught me about that statute in Michigan where they have relief for that default daddy situation. Shout out to Brother Darrell Long. If you hadn't schooled me on that, see, I'm trying to tell you, Darrell, you got good work to do. Because if you hadn't schooled me on that, I would have got fried over there. See, I mean, I already got fried, but at least I was telling the truth. I had the right information. I just didn't have the right date in my head, but I had the right information. And then when we went back and fact checked it, it's all good. It's all good. Shout out, salute to you, Darrell. Salute to you, brother. Keep making that good content, man. Keep making that good content. All right, moving on, man. We got to move, y'all, because we got some serious issue to talk about today, man. We always do, but man, today is serious. So I'm gonna jump right into the news, man. I hope y'all day is going good. I hope everybody is doing well, man. Doing well. Um, yeah, let me jump into my first story, my news story here. Um, yeah, man. Okay. Give me a second, y'all. I'm old. I'll move fast. I'll move fast. All right. Here we go. Here we go. All right. Let's do it like this. All right. All right, guys. Now we're all aware of this. YouTube star Kevin Samuels died from hypertension. Medical examiner concludes he was known for relationship advice that some critics said amounted to attacks on black women. All right. Um, YouTube star Kevin Samuels died of hypertension at Georgia Medical Examiner concluded. Samuels, 53, I thought he was 55, 53, died suddenly May 5th after he complained of chest pain and collapsed. Authorities said he was at his apartment and taken to a hospital, but could not be resurrected. Oh man, they said. Chief Medical Examiner Karen E. Sullivan. Findings were reported by E! News. It's my opinion that Kevin Samuels died due to hypertension, high blood pressure. Sullivan wrote in a report dated July 14. Manner of death was ruled natural. Samuels had 1.4 million subscribers on YouTube. Hey, so if you have a million subscribers, is that going some kind of way give you good health? See, you know what I'm saying? He was unfortunately, man, and rest in peace to the brotherhood. He was unfortunately a victim of his own success, right? Getting so successful, he had so many demands on his time. He didn't really have time to work out or do anything, so he just kept popping those Red Bulls, in my opinion. And those Red Bulls, man, Red Bulls, what they do is they inflame your heart, man. They pump your heart up to this huge size. I mean, it's just we don't see that. We don't see that. You can maybe pop one every 6 months, right? You get no sleep, but man, you can't be popping those things every day. You just can't do it. But see, he has so many demands, and like O'Shea Duke Jackson said, he really have a infrastructure behind him where he had an assistant to help him organize everything that was going on. Always hire somebody if you can to help you if you can. Why? Because it keeps the economy going. It keeps the economy going. if none of us will hire anybody else, then it's going to shut down the economy. All right. So anyway, Samuels had 1.4 million subscribers on YouTube, where he often focused on dating and relationships. Critics often saw his opinions as attacks on women. And then in an April video, he labeled women who are older than 35 and unmarried as leftovers, prompting an online outcry. Other videos were used as platforms to rate women's appearances. Many have pointed out the misogynistic nature of his media. His fans, however, have defended him, saying as having a backbone in the era of cancel culture. Shortly after his death, his mother, Beverly Samuels Birch, lamented learning about her son's death through social media. All I'm doing is requesting that people pray for us. She said at the time, the chief medical examiner wrote that Samuels had thicker than normal heart chambers. Are y'all listening? Are y'all listening? You black men out there, are y'all listening? See, y'all see what we do? We get all caught up. See, and then y'all talk about black women. Black women are so big. Black women are so big. See, black women are doing the same thing. They don't have nobody behind the scenes to organize their day typically. So they got to run. They're running around in 5 different directions all at the same time, all the time, just like Kevin Samuels. But some of them eat. He drank Red Bulls to try to keep up with the pace. But unfortunately, the brother, rest in peace, didn't have anybody that was close enough to say to him, "Hey, brother, maybe them Red Bulls gonna put you in a bad way, man. Maybe you should slow down on that." Did he really have friends? I know my people would tell me, "Hey, bro, you don't look so good. You ain't moving so well. You doing something different. What's going on?" Last time I saw Kevin Samuels on a video, last couple of videos I saw him, his hands were so swollen. His hands were so swollen. They looked like you literally could just put your mouth on the stomach, just blow it up. And this he got like clown hands. And I said, man, it don't look right to me. I don't look right to me. But I didn't know the brother, man. And, I was just like, okay, well, maybe, that's just the way he rolled, right? A lot of us are big like that. But what we don't realize is we're very unhealthy on the inside. So you can put a new suit on an unhealthy person and push them up, prop them up, and fill them up full of Red Bulls, and it looks like they're healthy. It looks like they're living a life. But are they? Are they? The chief examiner wrote that Samuels had thicker than normal heart chambers. Come on, y'all. That fried chicken, that fried chicken every day, the burgers every day. Come on, y'all. The Red Bulls every day. Some of y'all really out there. Cocaine. Come on now. See, and then you smoke weed, right? But what the weed does is make you think everything is cool. You ain't really You ain't even really aware of how bad your health situation really is and is getting. That's why they call hypertension the silent killer, right? Because you don't know about it until, if you're not staying up on it, you don't know about it until you keel over like that. Unfortunately for our brother. Anyway, specifically the left and right ventricles, a condition described by medical science as ventricular hypertrophy. Toxicology testing found amiodarone, a drug used to treat abnormal heart rhythms, and atenolol used to treat hypertension in his system, report states. Black Americans suffer high levels of hypertension. We're going to talk about that today, y'all. An estimated 55% have it. 55% of black people have hypertension. Come on, y'all. But we don't think we can do that. But they're telling you it's hereditary. It's not hereditary. I'm gonna prove it that it's not hereditary. You might have a sensitivity to it, but as hereditary, like it has to happen to you, no. Compared both to other Americans and to people of African descent elsewhere in the world. So, like I say, Nigerians living in Nigeria, they ain't got 55% of them. They don't suffer from hypertension. But why do Black Americans suffer from hypertension and non-Black people that are not typically American born not suffer from hypertension? what's going on. We're going to talk about it, y'all. We're going to talk about it. A study of hypertension and sudden death, unexpected deaths, published in 2019, focused on 477 deaths in Nigeria blamed on high blood pressure. And its impact found the average age of the deceased was 52, with left ventricular heart failure as most common cause of death. The causes of hypertension in black males are complex and likely include the impacts of racism. This is NBC News, right? Okay, because some people will say, you're playing a victim Olympics because you're talking about racism. Oh, I know they got another bad word for this, liberal. Okay, this is the liberal news, right? So now they're going to put racism in. Okay, gotcha. And segregation, including limited access to medical care. You think Kevin Samuels had a health plan? He worked for himself, right? Typically, the last thing on black men's minds, especially ones that work for themselves, entrepreneurs, is healthcare. All right, limited access to medication. No, a lot of times they push a lot of medications on us, statin medications. When we as black people, our bodies will react better to natural medicine. Our bodies will react better to the natural medicine. If we can find a natural medicine that actually does the same thing, why take the medication? Oh, because everybody's getting paid. That's a loop that everybody gets paid. The insurance company gets paid. The company, AstraZeneca, those companies that make these medications, they get paid. Come on now. And healthy foods, medical researchers say, okay, are we as black men eating healthy foods? No. We're suffering in silence. Most of us are suffering. And so what do we do? What do? We eat fried chicken, right? Hamburger, cheeseburgers, and not just once a week. I mean, we eat them every 4 or 5 times a week, right? We can't get satisfaction in our lives, so we get satisfaction from our taste buds. We settle for satisfaction from our taste buds, and if we can't get it from our taste buds, we'll go get it from women that we don't need to have in our lives. Scientists have identified 17 variants of a gene associated with hypertension in black Americans. However, more research is needed in order to understand what the gene does and how variants may protect or predispose a person to high blood pressure, reads the statement on the 2019 study by Eunice Kennedy Shriver, National Institute of Child Health and Human Development. This article is written by Dennis Romero from NBC News Digital. All right, y'all. There you have it. That's why I did this. That's why, when I saw and I started looking up all these cats that had died, and I'm talking about died, not like 79, 80 years old, where you expect somebody's health to start failing at that point. No, these guys died at 20, 22, 28, 29, 30, 40, 50. I mean, you barely getting started at 50 years old, man. That's when you got enough sense to know what you're doing, but you got money that you can retire and go start really living your life. You ain't got to live for nobody else no more, right? All your children should be at least almost on their way out the house, right? Oh man, let me do some shout outs. Shout out to No Filter. Glad to have you in the building, sis. Good to see you. She said maybe the combination of BP with drugs, energy drinks are a receipt for going to the grave. It is. But we're gonna talk about that later. As when we get into the main subject. We're gonna talk about that later. Shout out to Jill's Chocolate Boutique. Glad to have you in the building, sis. Appreciate you. No Filter says swelling of the hands and feet sometimes means heart issues. Yeah, absolutely. There's 2 things. It's 3 things that swelling of the hands and feet mean. It's either a heart issue, it's either too much salt, or it's either too much sugar. One of those 3, or all of those 3 combined, is going to hit you. And too much salt and sugar is going to lead to the heart problems. When you have too much, you know what I'm saying? But see, you know what the problem is with most black men? We get used to feeling so bad, we don't even know we feel bad no more. We get used to feeling that way, right? If you can't run at least a quarter of a mile, then you should say to yourself, something's wrong. I should be able to. I mean, you look at the African societies, man. These old men, I'm talking about 85, 90, they can at least run them. They can at least run 2, 3 miles, right? Here we are in America, man, in the land of milk and honey. We can't even run down our driveway because our health, it's bad. And like Sister said, No Filter said, it's the food you consume. Yeah, it definitely that plays a part into it. Jill says, truth, Brother Clarence, a lot of my people have hypertension. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But we gonna talk about it. We're gonna talk about it. But my brother said today is baked turkey wings, green beans dressing, cranberry sauce. Mm-mm. Yeah, you know what I'm saying. I mean, you can have a piece of fried chicken here and there, but we can't live out. We see, unfortunately, in the black community, we have based our lives around fast food, right? Then we have based our lives around eating fast food. Why? Or what we call fast food, right? But like they say on Seinfeld, it's not fast food. It's food made quickly, right? Or it's consum- things to consume quickly. Because I don't even want to call it food, because food is something you get nutritional value from. You don't get no nutritional value from fried chicken, French fries, and a day old biscuit. You don't get no nutritional value from something like that. But we eat there like 2 or 3 times a week. This is my spot. We gotta do some things different, y'all. We gotta do some things different. Well, we're gonna talk about it later. Shout out to everybody that's in the building. Appreciate you. Everybody inside and in the bushes. We appreciate you, man. All right, let's move on, man, because we gotta get to our situation here. Let's get to the hit parade, y'all. Let's get to the hit parade. Let's see. Let me change this. I appreciate y'all for being here today, man, because, man, holy smokes. Let's see. Okay, here's the hit parade. All right. Minnesota junior hockey coach fired after video airs allegations of SCS misconduct. Okay, so what happened here is this guy was a hockey league coach, and what happened was he got caught. Like there's people that do these. Like Daryl knows what I'm talking about, man. These people that do these videos where they go out and they act online like they are a little girl or a little boy, and they have these dudes. They set up a meeting with the dude, and then the dude comes to meet the little boy or little girl, but it's actually this Crime Stopper group or this vigilante group that videotapes everything that happened there, right? So the meeting, right? And so this dude got caught up in something like that, right? But I'm going to read it. North American Hockey League announced that Minnesota Wilderness assistant coach Brandon Phelps has been fired, and his former team asked the public for help in investigating him after allegations of misconduct surfaced in a video posted on YouTube over the weekend. We might watch a little bit of that. That video, which was uploaded and published on July 9, appeared to show Phelps being confronted by multiple people in a park near Sleepy Eye, Minnesota, and accusing him of trying to meet a teenage boy for SEX. Holy smokes. Clarence, why do you still do these hit parades? Because I'm trying to tell you, I need to tell y'all children, I need to talk to y'all children every doggone day. You have to talk to your children every day. Where'd you go? Where'd you been? Where you been? What you doing? What you gonna go see? Okay, tell me where you going. And then every once in a while you gotta sneak up on them and check up on them. Oh, I don't sneak up on my children. I don't do that. You know what? Hey, that might be the difference between them getting caught up in something, you rolling up on them unannounced. You the parent. You ain't gotta tell them nothing. They don't owe them nothing. You owe them the best you can to try to protect them. And if you got to roll up on them sometimes unannounced, that's what you got to do. You got to. But why do I keep doing this? Because I got to impress upon us to constantly be watching our children. And constantly, just because you got a coach and he's got good reviews and all that, you never know when somebody's going to snap. Okay, yeah, you a good dude. But people that work with children, sometimes they have issues. That's why they work with children, because they have some type of desire that's, not normal. And so they want to work with children. And in the midst of working with children, they see them as opportunities to satisfy their perverted desires, right? And if we ain't there on the front lines, then these people, man, they would take advantage of somebody, man. You know what I'm saying? We got to be there. We got to be there. So that's why I keep doing this, man. That video that was uploaded, okay, we can do that. According to NAHL, Phelps, 31 years old, was terminated from the position, and local law enforcement and the U.S. Center for Safe Sport were asked by the league to investigate the allegations. Based on information available to NAHL, the conduct in question does not appear to have involved any NAHL player, personnel, or activity. Upon seeing the video, the Wilderness contacted the NAHL, U.S. Hockey, and law enforcement. The Wilderness also informed Mr. Phelps that his employment with the team had been immediately terminated. This matter was also reported to U.S. Center for Safe Sport, which has the exclusive authority within U.S. junior hockey to investigate to resolve the allegations. As a result, Mr. Phelps has been suspended from all participation in any hockey sanctioned activity, including the activity within the jurisdiction of NHAL. One of the individuals who filmed and participated in the roughly 18-minute video, which the Athletic has reviewed, accused Phelps of sending graphic SCX videos to a person posing as a 16-year-old boy over a social media app. Do you have a 16-year-old son or daughter? Come on now. Agreeing to purchase alcohol for him and procuring a hotel room to meet the boy for sex. The age of the consent in Minnesota is 16. But Safe Sport has policies with relatively wide latitude that govern conduct from coaches and allow Safe Sport to use discretion. According to Safe Sports Code, privilege. Come on, man. What happened? Oh, okay. The participation of the Olympic private movement may be limited, conditions, suspended, termination, or denied if participants' conduct or was inconsistent with the code, best interest of the sport of those who participate in it. Okay. So let's go here to see the video. Let's see some of the video. Let's do this. Let's see this. Okay. Okie dokie. Let's play it.
Look at him, he's texting right now. He's texting me right now. How you doing today, Anthony?
I'm not Anthony.
Yeah, you are. Who are you here to meet?
I'm just up for a walk.
No, either you have a conversation with me right now or I call the police.
Okay, what's up?
You have a conversation with me right now or I call the police.
I'll have a conversation with you.
Okay, well, let's go somewhere and have a conversation. We're not going to beat you up. We're recording for safety reasons only.
Okay.
Okay, we're going to come here and talk about what you're doing.
Okay.
You understand?
Yeah.
What's your real name?
Anthony?
No, it ain't. You just told me it wasn't.
Yeah.
Show me your ID.
I don't have my wallet on me.
Bullshit.
I swear to God.
Pull your phone out and show me Facebook right now what your name is on Facebook.
It's Brendan.
Brendan what?
Phelps.
Don't lie to me again, dude. I'll call the fucking police right now and we'll get it over with.
No,
I'm trying to see why you're here to do this, dude. Why are you here to meet a 16-year-old boy to fuck him, dude?
I don't know. I'm sorry, guys.
No, don't say I'm sorry, guys, bro. I want to hear why you're here to fuck him, dude. Why are you here to fuck a little boy? There's not guys your age that you can talk to?
I don't know.
No, don't. I don't know, bro. Tell me right now why you're here.
Started talking to me, and then we were talking.
Yeah, talking about what? Should we pull out the messages?
No,
we shouldn't.
no.
Why not?
I'm sorry, guys.
No, don't say I'm sorry,
Yeah.
bro. What are you scared? Your heart's racing, dude.
I know.
Yeah, you're here to fuck a little kid.
I think we got enough of. I think we got the picture with this situation. But the point is, it's cats out here like that. There's dudes out here like that. You got to watch your children. This dude was a hockey coach. Don't be putting your children in nothing that you ain't gonna sit there for a couple hours. When I was coaching basketball, people, the parents would just leave their children with me for hours, right? I mean, I guess that says something about me, but in today's climate, you can't do that. Can't leave your children there with for no reason, man. I mean, if you're not there with your child, come on. My wife is talking about putting my granddaughter into karate and putting her into dance. I'm like, okay, you better be there. You're not gonna drop her off and leave her. She go, I know. I said, well, you long as you know, long as you know. Okay, Miss Candy Dan. Shout out to Candy Dan, by the way. She said, good afternoon, Brother Clarence. Salute to the chat. I have something to contribute to the healthcare conversation. Please, Candy Dan, I heard you a nurse. So please, give me about another 45 minutes before I actually open up the panel to talk, because we got a couple things we got to do first. And the Sunday show is really stacked because I got a lot of stuff I got to get to first. I got to do this, then I got to go to the Rescue of Black Boys. Then after that, I got to do the Black History Minute. Then after that, I got to do Job of the Week, and then we're gonna get into the topic. And then I need about 10 or 15 minutes to get into that topic by myself, and then I open up, and then I'll bring you up. So I tell you what, Candy Dan, I tell you what, this is what I would like to do. I would like to just speak to you directly. If you could go to my about page and email me. If you could go to my about page and email me, I could send you I could directly email you this link, and then I have you talk, and then we could talk about it for a little while before I open up the panel. Because I think you and I talking one-on-one, we'd be able to get a lot more information out there. If you can, if not, it's no problem, Candy. You can wait until, but like I said, we can wait until I put it out to the general public. But I'd like to talk to you one-on-one. All right. So anyway, let's see. Where was we? Oh yeah. So let's get rid of this, man. But the point why you keep talking about this stuff, Clarence? We got to, man. We got to talk about it. We got to make sure that we always watching our children, man. This world is so adverse towards Black children in particular, and children period, but Black children in particular, because they feel like nobody's looking at Black children. Nobody cares. And that's not the situation, man. In most cases, that's not the situation. All right, let's get rid of this because we got to move on now. Candy Dan told me she want to talk, so let me get it moving here. Okay, but watch your children, man, at all times. Watch your children at all times. Don't leave it. Don't leave them nowhere. Let's see. Okay, here we go. So we're gonna do about 5 minutes of Dr. Kinjufu, and just let him tell us about how to rescue some Black boys, actually Black children, but in particular the boys, man. That's where we really need to focus a lot of energy on.
David Rockefeller or Casper Weinberger. We may not be able to change what white men make, $403 a week, and Black women make about $234. We may not be able to change that, but we can change the influence of the peer group, parental involvement, student self-esteem, the curriculum, teacher expectation. At least we can make a attempt at that. Now, as I said earlier, there's at least one person in this room that may think it's stability. I want to pause and look at this, because if it's stability, then Black colleges, independent Black schools, the Effective Schools Project, magnet schools cannot produce a quality product. If it was ability, then Black colleges that only receive 25% of the students, but produce 50% of the graduates, cannot produce that kind of product. And if you think they're inferior, those students that go on to graduate training at white universities and receive their degrees, 75% of them receive their undergraduate training in a Black undergraduate school. So if it was ability, the same ability the other schools work with, then black colleges, independent black schools, magnet schools cannot produce a quality product. It is not ability. And since we cannot change environmental factors, let's now look at the other 5. Peer group, parental involvement, student self-esteem, the curriculum, and teacher expectations. We apologize for going as fast as we are. We're condensing a 6-hour workshop into about an hour. And the first area I want to look at is the issue of the peer group. What we're concerned with here is that we believe that schools are more than academic institutions. They are also social institutions. In other words, very few of us have been trained on monitoring the peer group. And yet this may be one of our greatest competitors or influences on the minds of our children. It has gotten so bad that when black boys want to do a good job in school, they're labeled sissies. It's gotten so bad when black youth want to do a good job in school, they're called, you're trying to act white. And that's deep in 2 areas. First of all, here we are, the people that built the pyramids, first to read and write. And yet now we're going to attribute academic achievement to another race. That's problem number 1. But problem number 2, do you know how much pressure is on our youth trying to, on the one hand, please their peer group that has one set of values, and then please you, teachers and parents, with another set of values? A tremendous amount of pressure is on them. And we have to begin to understand that pressure. We were very much concerned about the Jackie Robinson syndrome. In other words, in the class of 30, we'll have our 1 or 2 black students in our gifted and talented programs, our honors programs, our AP programs. In other words, the Jackie Robinson syndrome all over again. In other words, we're going to take our 1 or 2 top black students and put them in the class of 30 students. Do you know what it's like being the Jackie Robinson of the class? And your peer group teasing you for being in there, and you have to be the only 1 or 2 in that kind of class? There are some other school districts who are trying to close the gap that realize if they want to increase the odds, stabilize black student achievement, 1 or 2 is not enough. In other words, some schools are now looking at, let's say, having 10 to 15 students in that kind of setting. So they can reinforce it not just academically, but also socially. Again, a tremendous amount of pressure, being the only 1 or 2 in the class. And you know what, some insensitive teachers in a setting like this, when they have to discuss a black issue, they ask the black child, well, what do you think about that? Do you know what it's like being the only black child, having to be the authority on all black issues, and you don't want to be black, no way, no how? A tremendous amount of pressure. So if we want to increase the odds, we have to increase the number of students in those classes, because schools are more than academic institutions. They are also social institutions as well. And we have to begin to look at that. We also believe that competition is healthy. In other words, we are very much concerned that many of our children are shying away from academic competition, and they are very much involved in athletic competition. In other words, we believe that competition is healthy. We believe it sharpens your skills. We believe that there's a psychology of performance, or let's be clear, the fear of failure. Many black youth are afraid of competing in academic activities and more confident in athletic activities. And what's sad is many schools allow it, not just in 9th grade, as early as 4th and 5th grade. We have many black youth shying away from academic competition and more involved in athletic competition. As I said earlier, we believe the competition sharpens your skills. And we believe that our youth need to be involved in both of these 2 particular areas. In other words, in integrated schools, not desegregated, in integrated schools, these principals have told me, if I have a 50-50 black-white school, then I don't want a 100% black basketball team and a 100% white science fair team or white debate team. And if it means going extra step, like the Boston Celtics, to get some white ball players, I'm going to do that. If it means going extra step to get some black students in debate and science fairs, I'm going to do that, because they are committed to having students involved in both academic and athletic competition, because it sharpens your skills. And we're concerned about that. In other words, let's move away from the varsity approach to academics, where you only have the top 1 or 2 students representing the school. We believe in the intramural approach. We believe in a class of 30 students, let's have 6 teams of 5 players. Let's have everyone involved in athletics. Let's have everyone involved in academics, because competition sharpens the skills.
All right, we're gonna finish this video, man. We're gonna get through it. It's only about an hour, but we're just gonna do 5 minutes every Sunday until we get all the way through it. But shout out to Dr. Kafuju. Shout out to Dr. Kafuju. Okay, so that is rescuing black boys. Do what you can. Sister OG Patrice, She reads to little kids. I mean, do what you can. But the best thing to do is just take care of the children in your own household or under your own covenant, right? If you gave a child life, a child is under your covenant, man. You need to take care of it. I'm talking about us as men, us as black men. We need to take care of our children. Uh, we need to take care of our children because nobody else will. And then people that take care of your children, people that take care of you, they can pretty much decide how you need to move, right? We need to decide how our own children move, and we need to be willing to take care of them so we can see that. All right, y'all. So let's move on. Let's move on. That's rescuing black boys. Let's move on because we got a lot to do. Black History Minute. Henry Box Brown. Y'all know who Henry Box Brown is? So I do. Why do we need to talk about this? I mean, let's just go forward. Okay. Go ask the Jews if they're going to. The Jews ain't going to let you go forward. And the Gentiles definitely ain't going to let you go forward. They got mountains with the faces of their historical figures. All they books. They got monuments for every great people that's great, quote unquote. They remember their history. It's only black people that want to forget their history and think they're going to get somewhere, right? Or maybe they just want to run up under the skirt of white people. I don't know. I think we should all be able to celebrate all of our histories. You know what I'm saying? I don't think any man should be able to celebrate his history. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? At least celebrate it to where you can see where you've been and where you're going, right? Anyway, let's talk about Henry Box Brown. I want to give a shout out to Brother Von Bryan. He's the one that put me up on Henry Box Brown. Henry Box Brown, they say he's born around 1815, died June 15, 1897, was a 19th century Virginia slave. They had slaves in Virginia, yes they did, who escaped to freedom at the age of 33 by arranging to have himself mailed in a wooden crate in 1849 to abolitionists in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. For a short time, Brown became a noted abolitionist speaker in Northeast United States as a public figure and fugitive slave. Brown felt extremely endangered by the passage of the Fugitive Slave Law in 1850, which increased pressure to capture escaped slaves. He moved to England and lived there for 25 years, touring with an anti-slavery panorama, becoming a magician and showman. Brown married and started a family with an English woman, Jane Floyd. This was Brown's second wife. His first wife, Nancy, had been sold by her slave owner. Holy smokes. Brown returned to, what if your wife was sold? See, you guys can't even imagine that like that. You guys can't even imagine that like that. Brown returned to the United States with his English family in 1875, where he continued to earn a living as an entertainer. He toured and performed as a magician, speaker, and mesmerist until at least 1889. The last decade of his life was spent in Toronto, where he died in 1897. All right, so that was Henry Box Brown. I don't want to go through the whole article, but he he mailed himself in this box. You can see the crate here. We mailed it. They got a what do they call that? A caricature of what actually happened, where he mailed himself in a crate to these abolitionists over here. Okay, so but don't just take my word for it. Go check it out for yourself. Dig that. That is the Black History Minute with Mr. Henry Box Brown. Go check it out for yourself. All right, y'all. We got one more thing, and then we'll get right into it. Let's talk about your job, the job of the week. Let's see what we're gonna do here. I guess I guess I'm up here. Let's see the job of the week. Job of the week. Here we go. Here we go. No, is that the one I want? I guess so. That must be the one I want. Okay, communication specialist. Communication specialist for teachers union. I guess I think it's the SEIU, or is that the teachers union, or that's that's the janitors union, I believe. Okay, SEU, it's the labor union, and let's see, example of work duty, work with staff to campaign, including short messages, communications, materials, website copy, man, it's basically office work. Really, outreach to news media. So you probably, send out, press releases, stuff like that, pretty much. But it don't sound like too hard of a job. Communication skills, verbal skills, familiarity with campaign communications, ability to work independently, willingness to work evenings, advanced experience with WordPress, InDesign, Photoshop, Illustrator. But I mean, you can learn all that stuff. Ability to work under pressure, ability to exercise good judgment, basically basic basic stuff. Basic stuff. Requirements. Here's the requirements. You must possess a valid California driver's license, auto insurance, and an automobile for business use. That's the requirements. No bachelor's degree, nothing, right? See, if you really want this, you could get it. You got to go out there and prove yourself. Salary and benefits, salary range 81,000 entry level to 102,000 with 12 plus years of experience. Okay, well, that's 12 years of experience, but 81,000 to start, that ain't bad. This is a union position, representative position subject to a collective bargaining agreement, fully paid benefit package, medical, dental, visual, and generous life insurance. Those are things. Okay, let me tell y'all, this is something when you should always look for when you go to a job. Medical, dental, vision, and life insurance. Those are the solid things. Oh, and 401k. Let me throw a 401k in there. Those are the things you should look for immediately up front, right? You should at least have 4 out of 5, right? And they tell you how to apply and everything, and they tell you what to do, right? Communication specialist. Not that hard, you know what I'm saying? Pretty much, you're just gonna be a liaison between the public and the union, right? But hey, get on out there. That's this one job. That's communication specialist. That's just one job out here in LA. But they have them all over. There's unions all over the country. You could just go in and walk in and say, do they have somebody doing this? Can I do it? Right? We got to stop being bashful out here, man. Bashful gonna have you hungry. You got to be able to go out here and we ain't bashful on YouTube. So let's stop being bashful in front of these in front of these employers. You know what I'm saying? Put your best foot forward, go out there and make it happen. Make it happen. Right? Okay, here we go. Okay. I got something for you, sis. Here we go. Canada Ann did reach out to me, y'all. Shout out to the sister, man. I'm gonna hit her back real quick with the StreamYard. Okay, I just hit her with the StreamYard, so hopefully she'll check in real quick. Okay, so that is your job of the week, communication specialist. Everybody good? All right, let's take that out of here. Let's take this out of here. All right, so let's us get to what it is. A lot of black men. Well, let me hit this real quick. Go to the chat. No Filter says this job must be for people who live in California only. Yeah. I'm sorry about that. No Filter. Sometimes it's not the particular career. It's a particular job, and it's in a certain area. But that don't mean they don't have this job in other parts of the country. See what I'm saying? We got to be proactive and go out there and looking for stuff like this. I mean, if you're going to get a job, try to get the most out of it. I mean, if you're going to give these people all your time, try to get as much as you can coming back your way, right? No said, make sure before you apply the actual company's website, see it's a real job posting. It should be on the job posting. Yeah. I mean, whatever you do, make sure it's for real. I'm just trying to show you guys that there's opportunities out there where you don't necessarily have to have a bachelor's degree or a master's degree to make some money if you got the drive and the self-motivation to get on it. You know what I'm saying? You got to have the drive and the self-motivation to get on it. All right, y'all. We got a special guest in the building. We got Sister Candid in. I'm gonna bring her up.
Good evening, Brother Clarence. This is my first time on your platform. Thank you for having me.
Oh man, pleasure. Pleasure's all mine, sis. Thank you for coming up. I wanted to talk about Black men and the health, and I'm glad to have somebody who absolutely probably has much more information than the rest of us have on health and the effects of bad health. So how are you today? By the way, let me start out there.
I'm doing well. I'm doing very well, thank God. Yes.
All right, same here. Appreciate you. All right, so let's just get right into it. Get right into it, sis?
Absolutely. Hold on. Let me close the door because my husband's watching like Star Wars or something. And just a quick second. I'm just going to close this door.
It's all right. The best one is the first one.
Okay. Sorry about that.
All right,
Can you hear me? I hope there's no distractions now. I'm sorry about that.
No problem. We appreciate you giving us some time.
Yeah, I do have a lot to say about this. And there's going to be some areas where I know that myself, the audience, we're going to disagree. So look, I've been a nurse for 5 years, right? So I'm not, I haven't been doing this for 20 years, but in those 5 years, I've seen a lot. And it's stressful because I see Black men, Black and Hispanic especially, coming in at very young ages with high blood pressure, also known as hypertension.
Correct.
Right. And there's a lot of misconceptions. One, I am a nurse, right? So I know this automatically. I know my community very well. I'm from the Bronx. Okay. I'm from New York City. I'm from the Bronx. Okay. My family is from the islands. These are things what the things I'm about to say, and I do have to be somewhat careful because I have to go back to work and I can't be as raw and candid as I would like to be.
I got you, sis.
Right, because I still have to go back to work and get this money.
Okay.
But the attitude, when I say attitude, I'm not talking about bad. I'm talking about the feelings, the emotions that my community has. I'm familiar with it. These are my family members. These are people that I grew up with. Right. So I'm going to tell you things, and I know that some of the audience members are going to disagree with it because I hear it all the time.
Don't worry about that. You tell the truth. We just tell the truth. If they're going to disagree, they're going to disagree.
And it's not even a matter of disagreeing. It's a matter of I understand, I'm not going to turn my camera on because I'm in the middle of doing some chores in the house. I'm a real person. You can go on my YouTube channel. You can see hundreds of videos of me. I'm a real person on this.
I've seen you around. I've seen you around. So
okay, great. All right. And that's actually me. Right. So anyways, let's talk about hypertension because that's what, Kevin Samuels, that's what that was a complication. That was an underlying factor as to what led him to the heart attack. Right. And I heard you earlier say that, these drug companies want to push medications off on us as a community.
Correct.
Right?
In my opinion.
In your opinion, right? That's nonsense. Right. That's where I know you and I are going to disagree. Right. Hypertension, high blood pressure. These drug companies don't care nothing about black, white. Hypertension is something that everyone in America, if you look at the CDC and you look at the number one leading cause of death is usually cardiovascular reasons. And Black people, we only make up 13% of the population or so. I'm not sure it's 12, 13, 14 today or whatever it is, but a small percent, a small slice. There is 80-something% more people struggling with the same thing. Unfortunately, we struggle with it because of some of these cultural things, rightfully so sometimes, like, the Tuskegee thing. That's a big deal. Like, let's not like minimize why Black people have a distrust for the healthcare community. I get it. I understand it. So I'm not going to invalidate that at all. But unfortunately, we're out here suffering more than a lot of the other people are, right?
Agreed.
Dying at a younger age from these complications. And I'm the one at the bedside listening to you, trying to help you, trying to like convince you, and people out here wanting to do. I have no issues with natural remedies. Um, but people are out here thinking that they can suck on twigs and eat berries and nuts, and that's going to cure their hypertension, and won't take their medication, and they're coming back over and over and over and over. We're called over and over again for the same problem. What I don't understand about my community that I love so much is I've watched panels with people smoking cigarettes, nobody pushes back on it. Smoking weed, nobody pushes back. Drinking alcohol, nobody pushes back. No one says these things are harmful to your body, Black man. Nobody pushes back. But when it comes time taking your blood pressure medication, it's a problem. These are the things I don't understand, Brother Clarence. These are the things that are killing us, that frustrates me. And I'm telling you this, not just as a Black nurse, but my husband suffered from a stroke. I'm
Oh man, I'm
literally
sorry to hear
about yes, in 2019. But he don't listen either, Brother Clarence.
that.
Right?
Is he a young guy? Is he young? Can I ask? Is he in his
At
50s?
that time he was in his 40s.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, Brother Clarence. He's okay now, thank God. But what I'm telling you,
Okay,
it's coming
good.
from the heart. This is not some nurse coming to you trying to push an agenda. I'm going to go to work and I'm going to get my money regardless. Okay. There's nothing for me to sit down here and tell you about this. I have nothing to gain.
Okay.
I personally have nothing to gain. So this is a heartfelt matter. This is something that I don't want to see my brothers and sisters struggle with, right? And I've lived with, I don't want to ever. I told my husband I don't want to be a widow. I don't want to be married again. I only want him to be the last one. That's it. So you guys talk about high value men and all this, whatever, whether you believe in this stuff or not. But
Right.
this Black man is highly valuable to me. I don't want to lose him because of nonsense like hypertension.
Okay.
Right. So these are some of the things that, like, when I talk about, educating ourselves, like you got to work with your doctor. Right. I'm not telling you that some of these natural remedies might not work for you, but you can't just forego all of science and decide to do your own thing, thinking that you can figure it out. Like, you're in the hospital suffering. I'm talking about suffering,
Yeah.
right? Losing limbs.
Yeah.
And I'm,
Yeah. See,
yeah. So that's right.
well, can I let me say this?
Yes, sir.
I don't promote that people with serious medical conditions just jump off of their drugs or jump off their regimen for the management
Yes.
for their health
Thank
management.
God.
I don't recommend that. But what I
Okay.
recommend is if there's something out there that can give you the same result that doesn't have a cascading effect in the body, that should be looked into. That's my position. You don't agree with that?
No, I have no issue necessarily with that. I guess I was more speaking to the talking point of what I see in the hospital of people foregoing their blood pressure medications and
Yeah.
trying to do like the garlic, for the blood pressure, trying to do all these things and not taking the blood pressure medications in addition to these things.
Correct.
And I'm not telling you that there's not science behind some of these things. Some of these things can be helpful, but not blood pressure for, let's pretend I don't have any blood pressure problems, but let's pretend that I did for a moment. My blood pressure issues might not be exactly as severe as your blood pressure issues. So what might work for me, I can't just go ahead and tell you, oh, go ahead and try this natural remedy is going to work for you, because yours might be way more severe than mine. Right. And so that's why I advocate. I'm not like completely against people trying to figure out what's going to work for them, but you have to work with your doctor. And another thing that I hugely advocate for is people, we spend a lot of money on nonsense. Ask the people in the crowd, just, put up a 1 if you have it and a 2 if you don't. How many of you guys own a blood pressure machine in your house?
Yeah, I got one.
Thank God. You don't have to have high blood pressure to buy the machine. Why not just check it on your own? Why not just sit down there and check it on your own to find out, like, hey, is my blood pressure okay? Like, you're waiting for your annual your annual to find out whether, so you're gonna walk around with high blood pressure for a whole year
Oh
before you
no, that's not black men. Black men don't do that. No, 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 no. Black men don't go. It
we
ain't
just
no 1
don't
year.
go.
It ain't no
That's what
1
I'm
year. Everybody go and
saying.
then when they go when they finally break down. That's when they go in.
And it's too late by that point. When you feel like you have a headache, you're having blurry vision, you have erectile dysfunction because your dick ain't working right. Okay,
Right.
that's when it's too late. That's when it's caused too many like you said, cascading effects in the body, right? Because blood pressure is a vascular issue, and wherever you have veins, whether it's going to be in your brain, you can get a stroke. Whether it's going to be in your heart, you have a heart attack. Wherever veins are at in your legs, if they're insufficient, you're going to have that edema that you spoke about. If the blood is not flowing properly because of atherosclerosis, blah 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 blah. I'm not going to get too technical with all this stuff, right? But I'm just saying that, like, it is a cascading effect, and so by the time it's a silent killer. That's why they call it the silent killer. Let me tell you, if I told people, I feel like if I told my Black community that your Johnson would get super hard in the wreck and be ready for any of these 3 or 4s out here if you ate fruits and vegetables, I promise you my Black community would eat fruits and vegetables, right?
It'd be sold out. Right?
It'd be sold out. But we're not and a lot of people talk about God this and God that, and God created the fruits and vegetables, but we're not eating it. We're eating crap. We're eating McDonald's and packaged foods and pre-packaged things. But you guys believe in the Lord so much, but why not eat the fruits and vegetables? I don't understand how my community can make chitlins taste apparently good, right? But you can't figure out how to make the fruits and vegetables taste good. All these are the excuses that I'm used to hearing. I know I'm going off on a tangent because I've heard so much from these 5 years from my community, from people in the hospital, when I try to tell them, like, hey, think about changing the way that you do things. Think about nutrition. I got to eat sticks. I got to eat rabbit food. These are the things that I'm hearing over and over and over.
Okay, so Sister Cannon, let me throw something in it because you spitting facts. First of all, shout out to Brother Chris. Glad to have you in the building, brother. Okay, but see, Black men. You know what the number one thing that Black men have in their life is stress. They have so much stress, and so they feel like they can't speak to some. They don't have anyone that understands the level of that type of stress. They don't feel like nobody can understand. So what they do is they suffer in silence, and so they try to crutch that suffering in different forms. Some of it is eating. Some of it is just a bad lifestyle, with drugs and alcohol and whatever else.
Let's talk about weed.
Or whatever they smoke,
alcohol.
Whatever, right? Right, alcohol, and then some of them, and then put that on top of a diet that's high in saturated oils. Yep. It's a combination, and then put that on top of not working out, no exercise, not sweating that stuff out. It's a combination for a disaster, right?
Absolutely, brother. I 100% agree with you. No pushback at all.
Right. So that's what, and so what happens is they get into that lifestyle slowly but surely. They eat more bad food. They do more things that crutch, and they have more stress. And so they have less activity as they get older. And so this situation happens. Instead of going to the doctor, now the one thing we as Black men won't do, we just will not go to the doctor. We got to have a limb falling off or eye falling out or something really major for us to go to the doctor, because you know what? I'm cool. Why? Because we don't want to look like we're weak to nobody around us, right? We don't want to look like we're weak to our woman, to our children, to our family, to the people out there in the street. We don't want to look weak. So we don't want to go and have a doctor tell us, I need to talk to you for a minute, right? We don't want to hear that. So we just don't go. Just avoid them until we just fall down, right? Absolutely. And that's unfortunate. So my question to you as a person in this situation that has to deal with it on that end of it, what do you think we could do to try to push the message along to say, hey, brother, don't wait until already on the hospital bed to try to deal with some of these issues. Be preventative. You know what I mean?
So, brother, I've been struggling with that day after day, even here on YouTube, trying to figure out how can I, use the Trojan horse to be somewhat entertaining and
Right?
somehow still talk about diabetes, blood pressure, because these things they ain't fun to talk about.
No.
And I don't have the answer to that. We obviously need a cultural shift in which these things are more accepted. And people talk about shaming. I'm just using some of the rhetoric here. Talk about shaming certain activities within our community, right? Shaming the long nails. I don't know. Shaming the weaves, whatever. I don't know. Shaming single moms, whatever. Shame, shame, shame. Right? We got to shame some of this smoking. We got to shame some of this. Drinking Hennessy, the white man created that too, right? But I don't be concerned. Like, listen, you people over here talking about the white man made these medications and all this kind of stuff, but when they make that Henny, y'all suck it down. No questions asked. It's popular. It's awesome. It's fun, right? We even got our brothers showing the Ciroc nowadays. And I'm not saying not to enjoy yourself, guys. I'm not saying that you can't enjoy a drink from time to time, but what I'm saying is that these things are accepted in our community, and no one ever pushes back on how much Henny we're drinking, and or how much drinking, but people want to push back a lot of times on the medications and things like that. So there needs to be a cultural shift, and I don't exactly know what to do, because I live with this. I swear, brother, I had to threaten my husband with divorce one time to get him to go to the hospital. I kid you not.
Wow.
I was like, if you don't go, I'm gonna die. I mean, I wasn't going to divorce her, but I was
Of
so
course.
mad. I was so frustrated. I was so.
But
like,
you see what I'm saying, right?
frustrated.
You see what I'm saying? We just won't go. We just
We
will
won't
not
go. We won't
Especially
go.
the men. Women are more likely to go, and they may not go that much either, but at least they're more likely to go than us. Black men, I mean, you talk to an average black man, I ain't been to the doctor in 10 years, right? And then they get caught up with some type of ailment, and then they be like, I don't know, where did this come from? It's been coming.
Exactly.
It's been stacking up on you all that time. You just didn't go to the doctor.
Exactly.
And you could have went to the doctor and headed off at the pass, did something about it, either removed it or at least slowed it down, slowed the progression down. But we don't go because we ain't. I'm talking about as black men, we just do not want to look like we are weak, and that's what I'm trying to get around. That mentality.
Yeah, I didn't know that was the reason. If it was because of weakness, I didn't know what the reasoning was. So I honor what you tell me. I don't know, but for me, I get frustrated when you guys come to the hospital, just upset, concerned about your limbs being amputated, the odor coming from these wounds, not being able to be independent, and before you was being independent before, all kinds of different things. And so yeah, I don't know I wish other black men will come on, and eventually, I'm not trying to disrupt your program. I just saw the title and I'm like,
no problem. I'll put it
I
out
hope
there
that
for
black men will come on and discuss why don't they want to go to the doctor. I can't even tell you why my husband don't want to go. I ask him why I don't want, because I don't want to go. That's all I get. That's all I get until I threaten him with I mean, he's better at it now, especially since that event.
Of course,
he's better at it now. But that was years. I mean, years and years and years of like, please go, please go, please go. Why don't you go? And this is someone that has healthcare coverage. Like,
that's what I'm saying.
it.
I'm particularly seeing the chat. They're talking about a lot of our people don't have the coverage. I'm talking about the people that actually have the coverage. That you gotta make a push to go.
Crazy. And we're out here dying like this. One of the things I thought that was very interesting, and I made a small little I don't like talking about this all the time because I do get emotional. I'm making a promise to myself not to, because nobody wants to hear me snotting and crying all the damn time, right? But one of the things what I would like to point out about Kevin Samuels is that he wasn't the prototype that we normally think about in terms of being unhealthy, right? People assume that just, you're overweight, so you must have cardiovascular issues, you must have hypertension, you must have all these different things. But when you look at Kevin Samuels, he didn't look like he was overweight at all, right? Not at all. And I want people to know that you can be skinny and still have cardiovascular issues if you are not sleeping right, if you are not
Right.
resting, if you are not eating healthy, if you are not drinking enough water, and if you are not active, you can still be skinny and still have these issues,
Right.
right? And so that's one of the things that I think is so important to take away when it comes to looking at Kevin. Just because you're skinny doesn't mean that you're healthy. You got to get your labs.
Yeah. 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 Now I want you to talk about that. I want you to talk about that, sis. So hold on one second, but I got OG Patrice here.
Hey,
Patrice.
Opie.
Oh, you know Candy Dan already then.
Yes, ma'am.
Hey, good evening. How are you,
Good.
Candy?
I'm okay,
Um,
Miss OG. How are you doing this afternoon?
I'm wonderful. Hey, Blo Clarence, how are you? Salute to the chat.
What's going on, sis?
Um, hey, you know what? I'm so glad that, Candid finally made her way over here to, talk about this very important issue. I think it's so important for
Yeah.
someone in the field to talk about the health disparities, within the Black community. And I did put it in the chat, but a major reason too why men and I think even women and children now are being added on to the statistics, especially in low impoverished neighborhoods and in Black communities all across the the 50 states, right? That it says that the health disparities are very low because of very limited to little access to good health care, right? And the communities can play a part too. But yeah, when it comes to the men, I think they're more stubborn about going to the doctor. Even just like you said, to get an annual checkup, it's like pulling teeth, to try to get men to do it. But I'm noticing now that the numbers are rising in women, Black women, and children when it comes to hypertension and when it comes to heart disease and children with diabetes. These are major things that are plaguing our Black communities. And number one definitely is poor access and poor diet choices, uh, that just culturally come from the Black community and the way we cook, our foods and things like that. Instead of, like you're saying, growing naturally herbs and spices, vegetables, eating fresh fruit, drinking plenty of water, getting rest, all those things would definitely help. But the problem is, like you said, in our Black community, is we wait till we damn near got one foot in the grave before we do something about it. We
Yeah.
don't promote exercise and good health early on, like with our children, because it wasn't necessarily done with us. So it's been accepted in our own communities that when we see the little fat, pudgy little kids, oh, they so cute, little fat. So, we do that instead of, saying, having the conversations of saying, hey, you know, little Jennifer is, she a little stout there for, a child her age and her height, and right. And we get attitudes, the parent or, whoever you talking to get a little attitude, and when you try to tell them it's a health issue, it's not, you're not necessarily poking at them, and then the kids come home because they're crying because they are teased and bullied at school for being called fat and being fat shamed. It's so much stress on our communities. And Candy, you can weigh in on what I'm saying and let me know if you think anything I'm saying is incorrect
Well,
or
I don't have any children, so I always kind of back up when it comes to speaking about children because I don't have any kids, and neither do I work in a pediatric place.
no, but I
Not that I
think
disagree with you. I completely
yeah,
agree with you with the fact that these things start from young. Like you can go into a supermarket, and if you happen to see like usually, I'm not saying always, but you happen to see a overweight like 4-year-old, 5-year-old, and you're like, oh my God, that 5-year-old is so big. And then you
mhm,
find the parents, usually the parents are big
I
also,
do too,
right?
yeah.
Because they're feeding the same unhealthy diet, these prepackaged foods, these unhealthy diets to the kids. And so they start off already used to the sugar, used to all of the junk food, and so when it comes to introducing healthier food, they're not used to it, and so it's almost like an uphill battle. So I can speak to that. I agree with you 100% there, but I'm lost. I need help from this community to find out like what can we do, because prevention is the best way. Not even like yes, there are medications out here. Yes, we can do this. But like, I'm trying to figure out, and I can't figure out for the life of me, how can I get this community to listen?
All right, well, y'all,
What can I do?
ladies, let me do this. Let me show you a video of a brother, this brother right here that Patrice is working with out here in Arizona, trying to run for Congress, and the brother just had a sudden thing. Now, like we were talking, Canada, and a lot of times they have pre-existing conditions, so he's gonna mention that here, but it just hit him. All right, so let's look at this brother Jerome here, and let's listen to a video from him real quick. Where this came from, the condition exacerbated a lot of my old conditions, like with my neck and my back and my feet and my ankles and my knees. But the Lord was with me. I felt the hand of God over me. Many of the nurses here prayed with me. They recognized me. They knew the condition, and they helped me get over it very quickly. And the next phase is going to another doctor, and maybe 2 or 3 days thereafter, I'm going to be back on it. And we're going to take CD4, and we're going to turn this into a place that God can dwell, and God will be glorified. We're going to know who our teachers are. We're going to know who our nurses are. We're going to know who our doctors are. We're going to know who our judges are, and we're going to give God the glory. It's going to be an amazing time. I want to thank all of you so much from the bottom of my heart. And I want you all to know this, that God sees you right now. And I consider this an act of faith in God, not an act of faith in Jerome, but an act of faith in God. And God sees that, and he rewards that faith according to Hebrews chapter 12. Amen. So Team Jerome, and you all, because we have faith, we're going to shake this nation like it's never been shaken before. We're going to drive wickedness and darkness out of this country, and it's going to be a powerful move of God. You watch and see what I tell you. Team Jerome is coming in the name of the Lord, and it starts right here with something like this, an act of faith tonight. God bless you. I'm getting stronger. I'm going to be up. I have never stepped out of this race. Now I'm stepping up in the race. It's going to get even more intense. It's going to get more powerful, and we're going to win. All right, ladies. I want you guys to I want the people to take a look at this man just a little while ago. Maybe how long ago? Maybe a couple of days ago, Patrice.
Yeah, this was last night. Bro class last night. I went
I want you to this one. This picture here, Patrice.
Oh.
How long ago was that?
Yeah, that was just 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago.
And so what happened to him?
Good looking. How old is he, Patrice?
51.
And
yeah, that's
in the video. You can see in the video how swollen his eyes are. You could just tell that he wasn't feeling that well, right? But he would, the Lord blessed him to at least be able to have enough energy and strength to getting that coming back to be able to talk and with strong vigor, right? But I mean, just to say, see how quickly things could turn.
So the thing about this is you said how quickly things can turn. That was the tipping point, how quickly things can tip over.
Right.
But he talked about underlying conditions.
Correct.
Those things were there for a long time. So yes, it is very, very possible that, you could be straight healthy and something just happens to you. But usually what we find is that there's some kind of underlying thing that's been there all along. And one thing, look, I'm not a super religious person, and I don't mean to offend, but I mean to be honest, right? This is something I struggle with my mom. God put these medications on here. You were talking about like God this and God that, and he will be the glory and whatever. And that's all great, but still take your medications, people.
Of course.
Right.
Of course.
Yeah, Candace, let me give you context first. Okay, so he played in the NFL, so he has a lot of injuries and stuff that he sustained from that.
Uh-oh, are you there?
Patrice?
that. Yeah, my phone rang. Sorry about that. Yeah, so he had, he's talking about injuries and then other underlining, obviously, health conditions that probably no one, I don't know about, that he had. So what happened to him was he developed some kind of, he's running for office first, I should say that. So he's a pastor, and I should say that too. So that's where the prayer and the God and all of that stuff come from. So I went to his prayer visual for his health last night. And y'all know me, I'm not the biggest religious person, but when I support a person, I support them. And I'm supporting him as he's running for Congress here in Arizona. So that's context of that. And then so we were there, right outside the hospital, and this was just last night. And that's the videotape I videotaped from that. So his underlining old injuries from his NFL days, and then probably has some other, healthcare issues. So he ended up developing a blood infection, and it was starting to shut down his kidneys. So that's what's going on with Brother Jerome Davison right now. And they said his kidneys is pretty messed up from the infection. He had one surgery and it obviously didn't go so well, so he has to have another surgery.
A surgery
So
for what? Because this is sounding to me like a wound that got septic to me, and I'm just
yeah. It's something that they said it was on I don't now see I don't want to okay. It was a wound, Candace. You're right. Somewhere on like his side or something. And because I remember his
diabetic.
man explaining something about the wound. He was explaining it to us last night. But see, that's the thing, Candace. I don't know, Candid. I don't know if he have diabetes or nothing like that. That didn't come up, but he did mention other stuff, that he had underlying health conditions. It very well could be diabetes or high blood pressure or something. He's 51 years old. And all of a sudden that happened to him, and he ended up being hospitalized. So that's the
Not
case.
all
I
of a
want
sudden. Yeah, I don't want people to think all of a sudden. I know what you mean. I know what you mean by that, and I'm being just a little bit adamant, and for the sake of the messaging, that it's not all of a sudden, that these are chronic things that were taking place, and that it tipped over. He got to the point where it tipped over, and all of a sudden it manifested in these ways that
right.
he couldn't take care of it anymore. But like, I don't know the brother. I don't know what's going on. I don't know anything. The only reason why I brought up the God thing is because I hear this from my mom all the time.
Oh
When
yeah.
and I hear it
He's a
from
pastor. That's why you heard it. And you know me. I definitely, I don't practice Christianity, none of that. I believe in God and I pray. So that's when I say I support someone, I support them. So they asked me to come to the prayer visual to pray for his health, and I did just that. And I meant the prayer. I meant everything about praying for him to heal and have a speedy recovery. But he's a pastor, so that's why you getting what you're hearing him say.
Right. Understood.
What
I
I mean?
100% understood. I was just using that as a talking point to kick off this discussion of how we expect Jesus and the Lord and the church to take care of things that can be taken care of right here, like easily taken care of. I was just using that as a kicking point, not necessarily to put him on blast or anything like that, right? But just to use that as a talking point to kick off, because I've experienced this in my own family. I've experienced this, people in the hospital praying, and not being inconsistent with their medications and stuff like that. So, I believe in the Lord, and I believe that, whatever you believe in, whether it's Buddha, Allah, Yahweh, whatever, believe in whatever you want to believe in. But I'm just saying that still take your medication.
Yeah, and I'm sure he's gonna do that. I'm sure he's gonna abide by, his doctor's whatever, is going on with his situation, whatever advice his doctor give him, and taking his medication. He knows, I believe he strongly knows that he have to do that in order to live. I mean, he wants to be congressman, right? For the state of Arizona and go to Congress. He's fighting as a political person in this realm that's running. So I'm pretty sure he knows it's very important for him to take care of himself and his health. Now, it's rumored, how, people, when they running and things happen, it's rumored already that, this speculation allegedly that he was poisoned and different stuff like that. I don't know. but I can't speak on that. And I'm going to say allegedly, but he did mention a blood infection, and something did like burst and cause the issue, and it caused some damage to his kidney. So yeah, so that's what's going on with that, and he does have to have I think whatever, some kind of a surgery or something to whatever the situation that happened with something bursting or something happening on the side that his campaign manager was trying to explain. But I understood when he was saying when it aggravated other underlying health conditions he already had. He mentioned like leg and ankle and this and that, and that's fine, but it's probably, some other underlying health conditions that he didn't mention. I'm sure had that this blood infection inflated as well. So you're right, Candace, and it's not something that happened all of a sudden. I'm saying that is because I went to see him. I was supposed to go see him. He was speaking Friday night, and I went to see him Friday night at where he was supposed to be speaking, and that's when they made the announcement that he had to be rushed to the hospital. So that's why I said all of a sudden, because I was like,
understand.
I
totally
just
get
saw
it.
him, I just talked to him, and now he's being rushed to the hospital. So that's why I said all
Yeah,
of a
no, I
sudden.
totally get
Ladies,
it. Yes, sir.
ladies, can we discuss stress in black men? Because some of these guys here, shout out to Brother Jerome. I hope he, has a 100% in speedy recovery. But some of our people that passed, right, like Kevin Samuels, Young Cat, hypertension, right? But we don't talk about the other uglier side, which stress
Yeah,
can
stress.
All right, so let's
can
talk
cause.
about that for a minute. Are you guys familiar with the sympathetic and the parasympathetic nervous system?
I am not.
I've heard of it, but I'm not that familiar. No.
Okay, so let me put that to the side for a moment.
Okay.
So, Brother Clarence, if you were running from a bear, all of a sudden you're in your backyard, you are mowing the grass or whatever, a bear, a snake, whatever, some animal that could potentially kill you, that was dangerous to you, pops up all of a sudden into your vision, and you ran, right? What's going to happen? You're not going to be able to see out of the extremities of your eyes. Your eyes are going to focus. Your heart is going to race. You might, you're trying to get out of there. This is what's called fight or flight, right?
Okay.
That's the common name for it, fight or flight. What happens is that your body, your kidneys in particular, there's something called adrenal glands on your kidneys, but doesn't matter whatever. Adrenaline goes into your system, and the reason why that goes into your system is to help aid your muscles to get you out of danger immediately. And part of your heart is a muscle, and your heart also is going to pump faster because you need more oxygen to get to your brain. These are all things that are going to happen within a flash. You saw that doggone snake in the garden and you were out of there, right? It's not something you have to think about. So you imagine that kind of stress. What's interesting and what's amazing about the human body is that the type of stress that Black men deal with when it pertains to going to work, dealing with, I don't know, ornery wife or baby mama court system, whatever it is, right? It's the same stress. There's not your body physically, chemically reacts. Your heart rate goes up. All those things that I just described still happens because there's not two different types of ways that your body decides to deal with stress on a physical manner in terms of, that's a bill, I got subpoenaed to court, so I'm going to have a different type of nervous system reaction compared to the bear. It's one system that your body has. And so what happens in these situations is that if you are somewhat healthy and you don't have what's called arteriosclerosis, which is plaque in your vasculature, which leads to hypertension, which leads to heart attack. Right? I don't want to belabor this too much with science and stuff too much to make it hard to follow, but you'll be able to get out of there because you have the reserves in your system to run You have the reserves in your system to make that transition. But if your body is plagued with plaque in your arteries, and your heart, all of a sudden that adrenaline kicks off and your heart is trying to, oh my God, we got to get out of here. Oh my God, this woman pissed me off. And your heart is trying to squeeze, and it's doing that thing that it does when you saw the bear, similar to when you got served with them papers. It can't compensate for all that atherosclerosis in your body. And so therefore what happens? You get chest pain. Right? So I say all that to say that like people need to be aware that stress can kill you, right? But it happens normally in addition to underlying conditions, right? These underlying conditions is probably what's stressing you. It's the reason why you're not eating healthy, why you're not taking care of yourself, and all these different kinds of things. It's almost like a circular thing, right? But that same system, right, it's called the sympathetic nervous system. That same situation is happening whether you're running from a bear or you're getting served with child support papers. All that stuff is still going on, and that's why you end up heart racing, sweating, chest hurting. If you have problems, it's the same thing.
Well,
Does that clear things
Candace,
up
if
a
I
little bit?
yeah, and let me ask you because our numbers is also going up, like I said, in women too. And it's been historically founded that a lot of Black women suffer with hypertension as well. I know my mother suffers with it. My mother's twin sister suffers with it. Their mother suffered with it. She actually died from it. My grandmother, she had a stroke at the brain and died. I mean, she
Oh
took up
man.
to a machine for a long time, but that they said if she lived, she would be a vegetable. But at one point when they, unplugged the machine, she, all the rest of the organs failed and she went on ahead and died. But I'm finding that it's a Black community thing when it comes to men and women, because I think it's a lot of stress on women in general, especially single mothers, because they have a lot of stress trying to
Yes.
raise children, and
Yes.
they going through a lot. If they got a problem child, they going through stress. They working jobs they probably can't stand. They ain't making a lot of money, hard to make ends meet. For single women too. I got a cousin. She just a little bit older than I am. We grew up together, played together, and she now has high blood pressure. I mean, I'm just finding that it is a lot more in our Black community. There's so many people that are our relatives and our friends and our neighbors that we don't know have it because they don't talk about it. They may never say nothing. You may never know unless maybe one day if you that nosy person that go to use their bathroom, if you visited, and you know how we used to open the medicine cabinets and you see a bunch of medicine, and if you could read certain medications to know that these are high blood pressure medications and things like that. But it is happening more even with high cholesterol and heart disease in women as well. I think the stress of the weight of the world, specifically for black people, has a lot to do with the reason why too we suffer with high blood pressure and heart disease as well, and diabetes, poor diet. So it's a combination of all those things, I think, but especially I know my father had it, and that's what I fight so hard against. My father had it, and he had a little touch of diabetes, but he didn't die from none of those things. My father died by gun violence, but I did, But before he passed from gun violence, he had high blood pressure again, and my parents came from the South, had a hard life, grew up, poor. I think the diet, all of the stress of growing up like that, what plays a part for us in our community. And even if you didn't grow up impoverished, even I'm noticing middle class, upper class, Black people suffer with uh, hypertension. I've heard a lot of celebrities talk about it now that they suffer with hypertension, predominantly Black celebrities. Morgan Freeman, uh, people like that. I think it's just a thing with our community, the stresses. So sometimes it doesn't even matter that you're wealthy and you have access to all those things. I think it's just stress can be like a number one major reason why we suffer from
So it's
hypertension.
not just stress, even though I'm gonna completely agree with you. But one thing I want to say, I don't want people to just say, oh, it's stress and I can't do anything about it. I want people to be empowered. Now, I'm not saying that it's not stress, right? That's not correlated, but I want people to be empowered. One thing I know about people is that we do one of two things. We either run away from pain or we run towards pleasure. Right? I don't know who you are, because I might be a type of personality that's running towards pleasure while your personality type is running away from pain. But basically, it's one of two things in a different way of looking at the same thing. Right? And so stress can lead you to saying, you know what, I want to make a different choice. So instead of doing something to hurt myself, I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to jog. I'm going to wake up and I'm just going to run. I'm going to go pray. I'm going to, whatever it is, whether you decide to run towards pleasure or run away from pain, however you want to choose. Some of us have that stress and we decide to eat too damn much, or we decide to engage in activities that don't serve us, right? So stress can lead us to eating unhealthy, or it can motivate
Agreed.
us. It can
Agreed.
motivate us.
Okay, so ladies, I wanna go over it because stress is and Mr. He said if you can't, man, if you got a minute, come on up, man, because saying a lot of good, you drop a lot of good bombs out there in the chat, and I want you to
That's what
come
I
up
was
and
gonna
talk.
say. I would love. I'm wondering why this panel is not being flooded with men coming up here to talk
Because
about their health
black
issues.
men do not want to talk about health. They just don't. They don't want to do it. See, you're never going to get a panel of. You'll never have this happening over at the Black Man Unfiltered, because you will never have 10 black men sitting over there
No, I
talking
don't.
about
Wait, hold
health.
on. I don't want to say that because I've spoken. I'm works with Black Men Unfiltered too on his show, which is predominantly a men's show. I've spoken to him about trying to talk about health, and he's all for it. So let's not say that yeah, we're working on that too.
But what I mean by that is that you're not going to have like, it would not be one of his higher rated shows, because black men do not want to talk about health. And that's the
You're
That's
right.
what we're
I hear
trying to get
you.
around that.
We're gonna
You know
work
what I
on
mean? Yeah,
trying to
Black
get it
Man
in there.
Unfiltered, that's my guy. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm
No,
not
no, no. I just
attacking
meant
him
in
personally,
general.
but I'm just saying,
Yeah.
even he has a high a number of people that go to his live streams.
Right.
But I don't even think he could pull off having a lot of people come in and just talk about black men's health, because it's
Right.
difficult. Black men don't
Yeah.
want to do it. Now, I want to get you, and thank you for coming up, Mr. Harris. I want us to talk about something. Well, before I get into Moses Mosley, who unfortunately deleted himself, and he was a star on the show The Walking Dead, and I guess the situation just really overtook him mentally. I want you to lay down some things about what you were saying in the chat, man, because you were saying some things in the chat. So I want you to say it and have a Nurse Cannon talk to, let's all discuss it. So you're saying that stress is not a silent killer, but we choose not to medicate, we choose not to eat healthy, and we choose not to stay healthy. Can you elaborate a little bit on that, brother?
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you for having me. Shout out to you, Brother Clarence. Shout out to OG Patrice. Always a
Salute,
pleasure.
sir. Salute, sir.
And this is an amazing conversation, and I couldn't resist. And yeah, I feel wholeheartedly that it's not a silent killer. We are Black in America. We talk about it every day. The system is designed against us. Playing Monopoly when everything is designed against you is very stressful. Just to even sit down to the game, you have to put yourself in a certain mindset, and that is what America is. To even know that you are a Black American living in Western American society, and you have to, run through that rat race every day, puts you in a certain mindset, and stress comes along with the territory. So we choose to eat wrong, to not focus on diet, to repeat legacy, to, bury one of our family members for eating greens and ham hocks and macaroni and cheese, and then we'll have to wake and put all of the same stuff on the table. So it's a certain level of consciousness
That's
we got to
facts.
move with. There's vegetables out here. There's water, just like there's Hennessy. And if you can just balance things, just know that when you have a glass of wine, you should have a glass of water. And, that consciousness will keep us a little more healthy because it's really easy to continue doing the wrong things. And it's very expensive to be healthy. And it's something that you have to be conscious of every day. And I know it's not easy, but it's definitely something we have to do. And if you don't do it, then you're choosing not to.
And I think it's hard too when, especially in predominantly urban neighborhoods, they got more fast food restaurants than they have health food
Hmm.
stores. So we a lot of us live in food deserts, and it limited. Again, we need to definitely talk about the limited uh, access to good health care, right, in certain neighborhoods. That plays a part. But would you all say, and this is, I listen, I have been guilty of it myself even before I stopped eating pork over 30 years. I haven't eaten pork in over 30 years, right? But it took a long time for me to beat that monster until my doctor told me I was borderline for high blood pressure. And I started changing my diet and taking stuff out. But we hear some black people right today, I ain't gonna stop eating my bacon. I ain't gonna stop eating my this. I ain't gonna, we do that. Let's keep it a bug. We do that. I
Yeah.
ain't gonna stop. You have a person that, smoke and know, and they'll sit on the panel and have that smoker's cough all the time they on the panel. You smoke? Yeah, that's the smoker's cough. Have you stopped smoking? Have you tried? Yeah, I tried. Don't work, I don't do it as much. But I don't know if I could do it. I don't know if I can stop. And I know it's hard, guys, because like I said, the hardest thing, the last thing I took out of my diet with pork when I stopped eating pork was the bacon, right?
Yeah.
But we have our
Been
people
there,
be
done
like,
that.
listen, I ain't leaving that bacon alone. Y'all can say what you wanna, da da da. You know what I mean? So we do that. We do that as a people, right?
Right.
There's many things that we can enjoy in moderation, but I think the key thing is moderation. And one of the things that I want to you that I'm not sure if it was the gentleman. Good evening. I never met you before. My name is Anne. I'm Candid Anne.
Nice to
Um,
meet you,
Nice
Ann.
to meet you. I loved a lot of what you have to say. Someone here, I'm not sure if it was Brother Clarence or OG or whomever, said that it's hard to be healthy. Let me explain to you. Have you ever tried being sick? If you think it's
Yeah.
hard to be healthy, imagine how it feels to be sick when you cannot wipe your own ass.
Yeah,
When you're
suffering.
relying on someone to wipe your own bowels, when you have wounds that are smelly, when they hurt, there's a stench coming out of there,
Yeah.
right? It can make you septic when you if you think it's hard to be healthy, I just tell you, I want to empower people because I'm going to fight back in these conversations. And I don't want to say fight back, but I'm going to encourage that whenever I hear something, I want people to be empowered. So when people say that it's hard, you're right. You are right. I'm not pushing back, but I'm just, I guess, pushing forward, as we say now. If you think it's hard to be healthy, imagine what it feels like to be sick. You choose.
You know what? Here's the thing, though, Sister Candy Ann. And forgive me for not introducing you guys because I should have did that. That was my fault. The issue is that most black men are living such a chaotic lifestyle. They have no clue that how bad things could actually be, right? I mean, for themselves until they
Mm-hmm.
actually in that hospital bed, right?
Yep.
They have no clue. They have no perception. So when we talking to them and we saying, hey, you shouldn't eat that. Maybe you shouldn't do this. Maybe you shouldn't take these drugs or whatever. You shouldn't, recreational drugs or whatever we telling them, or maybe you shouldn't drink too much, or whatever. They have no clue. They just are. They feel like they're invincible, especially black man. Mr. He said, you tell me if I'm out of pocket. When we were 21, 22 years old, we thought we could run through a brick wall. I mean, at least I did. I thought I could jump 10 stories up. And I mean, I was in excellent shape, right? And so we don't have
Invincible. Invincible.
invincible, right? I mean, you can have sex for 7, 8 hours straight, right? Because you in such good shape, right? But obviously time whittles all that down, right? And bad living or stressful living or things happening in your life that you don't exactly um, because stress is comes from disappointment. Stress comes from you want things to go one way, but they go the other way. And so that dealing with that disappointment is mostly us on ourselves, putting that disappointment on ourselves and trying to carry that on ourselves instead of finding other ways to say, okay, well, that way didn't work. Let's do another way, another way. But sometimes we have, and then when we realize that there's, like Brother He says, that there's systems involved now. There's a difference. I can go to a person and I can dispute this with this person. I can go directly to the person and say, "You did me wrong." How do you go to a system and say, "The system is doing you system are doing me wrong"? See, that's you have a unidentified enemy, which is identified, but you can't speak to this person, to this enemy. It's a system. So
So
that's
can I
stress
say
in
this?
itself.
You know, we're a bunch of Black people on here, and I want to say that I honor that and I respect that. But no matter where you are, whether you are a white girl and stress for you is looking at all the magazines in Vogue with all these super skinny people, and so therefore you might decide to, you know, do things to yourself to make you not eat. That's stress for her, right? It's different for us. It looks different. There's nobody that's going to escape this lifestyle, or forget lifestyle. There's nobody that's going to escape life without stress. And you can
Correct.
decide that we can sit here and pontificate on where the stress, where the source of the stress is, whether it's the white man, whether it's culture, whether it's the system, whether it's for a white girl, that Vogue magazine, and I don't look as pretty as the other girls, whatever. It doesn't matter. In your mind, there's still stress. What we have to deal with, right, is the poor coping mechanism in
Correct.
which we deal with stress. I don't think it really, I'm not saying it doesn't serve us to decide like where the stress comes from, but what I would like us to more focus on is the coping mechanism. What
Correct.
can we do to deal with, whether it's I think I'm too skinny, I think I'm too fat, I don't like my breasts, I want to be whatever, I don't care, whatever it is. You might find it foolish. For me, it might be something completely like I didn't like my gap tooth. You might say that's ridiculous. It's not a big stressor. It was to me. In my brain, I'm walking around with that stressor. How can you tell me it's not a stressor? Right? So whatever your stressor is, whether it's the white man, politics, the government, the system, whatever, I want people to focus on the mechanism in which you cope. Because no one, I don't care who you are, Donald Trump, he has stress. His stress looks different than ours, but he has stress. None of us are
Agreed.
going to leave this lifetime. I don't care how good of a person you could have been. Jesus, I'm sure he was stressed.
Agreed.
So let's focus. I would love us to focus on the coping mechanisms. What are we going to do to focus? Because you're going to have stress regardless. Where that stress comes from, who cares?
Okay,
Okay,
Candace.
let me
Uh,
hold on, Patrice. Let me do some
uh-huh.
shout outs real quick and then I'll get right back to you. Let me shout out Miss She Said, glad to have you in the building, sis. Got
And
somebody you might
she
know in the building
said,
with us. Got somebody in the building you might know, sis.
she
All right.
said.
I got shout out to New Growth. Glad to have you in the building, sir. Appreciate you. You should really listen to this one, man, because this is right up your alley, man. You're a youngster and you should really listen to this one. All right. Go ahead, Patrice. I'm sorry. I
No,
interrupted.
I just want to say I agree. I think some of the, solutions, especially for us, as a culture, we definitely need to get more into our health as far as working out, eating better. Those are some solutions. Encouraging even family members to do the same as well. Also, I know the guy I'm dating now has a highly stressed job because he's a police officer, and I have the conversation with him. And this is something that even before we started dating, I asked him how was his mental health, because when you do that line of work, you see everything, and that's in our culture. Like we have so many stressors, right? So are we coping mentally, getting the mental help that we need, getting uh, the emotional part in check? Are we doing things to relieve the stress, like like he and I going on a trip, and I'm going to pay for the whole spa day for us. We're going to get the whole thing massages. I found massages to be very, very helpful for
What
me
about
when I'm hot,
running? What
when
about
I'm
going for a
highly stressed.
jog?
No, I'm not running nowhere, baby, unless somebody running after me. I'll walk. Now I'll do power
Oh
walking.
man,
What
I
about going
Patrice.
tell
for a 30
anybody.
minute, like what about a walk?
No,
What about an intense brisk
I
walk?
will power walk, but like I said, baby, I got bad knee. Patrice ain't running unless somebody's running after her. That's the only running I'm doing, because running is already hard on the knees, and I got a banged up knee that I fell, back in the day.
Oh
So
man.
Okay,
I
I
can't I
understand. I
can't I
respect
can't
that.
run, but I can power walk. I'll put me some little ankle weights on, and I'll go power walking in the park. Now I don't mind doing that, but running, I'm like Pryor. I ain't running unless somebody chasing me. Okay.
I
So
respect that.
uh the
Hold on,
massages,
Patrice,
when I
hold on.
Mhm.
Patrice, hold on 1 second. Let me do a couple more shout outs. Shout out to
Go
our
ahead.
day one, Rita Neal. I didn't even see you slip in there. Shout out to Rita Neal, and then of course Moments with Mickey Red. Shout out to Moments with Mickey Red. Okay, sorry about that, Patrice. Go ahead.
I want to tell the ladies and the men, because I know, I see more other races of men in the massage parlors than I do black men. And I want to tell you, black men, massages work wonders. I get massages. They will massage your temples. They will massage, all of your neck, your shoulders, all of the triggers that where the stress lies the most in us, right? Which is the neck, the shoulders, and the temple for the most part.
See,
And then
that's
if
a
you do
sticky
any,
situation, Patrice, for black
no,
men.
I'm talking, I know. And I'm talking about a massage. I'm not talking about going to the pleasure type of
Well, yeah,
massage.
no, I'm
I'm
talking about
talking about a
I'm talking about.
professional massage.
Yeah, me too, me too. I'm talking about professional massage, but I'm saying that you have to. I want you to include, as well as going to get a massage, to look at it in a certain way. Look at it as, this is for my health. I'm not in
Hmm.
here to play no games. I'm in here
Exactly.
for my health, because
And I need to release some stress.
yeah, but definitely this is gonna help me health wise. Because if
Yes.
they look at it any other kind of way,
Yep.
black men in massage
Yeah. We don't
have
want
not
that.
done good, right?
It's not
So
just
We don't
black
want
men, it's
that.
black women
And
you're right,
also.
Patrice. And
and
I
I
just
want to
want to
say
include
this
that in
too,
there.
because if you know that if you got a professional masseuse that literally is so good at what they do, they have to wake you up after the massage. They totally done their job. I have fallen asleep after, and they had to literally wake me up. That's how good they are at their craft and what they do. Is if you can fall asleep into a total relaxation, and you got to have somebody that's good and that you trust to, like somebody you
Yeah,
go
yeah,
to, on a regular basis in your community or wherever you go. I'm not just saying willy nilly be out here, because some of these massage parlors is, what type of places. So pick a reputable place. And I'm telling you, the temple massage, like if you have a stress or headache that's in your temples, your neck, and your shoulders, you need somebody, get somebody to hit them areas, to tell them, and you specifically tell them what you want and where to concentrate on, and they'll do it. If it's in your lower back, they'll concentrate more on that. Like it's so, I'm telling you, guys, I really wish guys would definitely get more into professional massages. It is such a stress relief. I do it once a month, at least once a month if you can.
All right. Mr. He said, um, if you have anything on this, because I got to ask a question to the whole panel.
Nope, nope, you good.
Okay. So my question is, this is Mr. Moses Mosley, a big star on a. I don't know if you guys ever heard or watched a program called The Walking Dead, or are familiar with that program.
Yeah, I
This
heard of
brother
it,
was
never watched it though.
okay. It's basically a apocalyptic zombie type situation, right? Whatever.
And
But
that's why I never watched it.
right. So anyway, this brother right here was one of the zombies, right? He was a star on the show, and unfortunately for him, the stress got so much of his lifestyle or whatever it was that he unfortunately took his own life. Now, I'm noticing that this is becoming this is increasing, especially in black men, because I don't know. I'm gonna ask Candid Ann. Do you see that this is an epidemic? In my opinion, black men dying from stressful situations is becoming an epidemic. From where I sit, do you sit that way as a nurse and sitting in in the hospital, or what do you see?
So, you're talking about this man who self-deleted, right?
Correct.
So I would never see that because he would go straight to the morgue,
Okay,
not
of
to be
course.
grim or anything like that, just to give you a reality check. I would never see him
Okay.
and I would never know about him because I'm only dealing with people that are still have a fighting chance.
Correct.
But when I talk about the poor coping mechanism, this is a perfect example, right? Of how he, whatever it was that was trapped in his mind, we would look at this handsome young man and think, my God, the world is your oyster. You are young, you're on a major television show, you're handsome. And we couldn't even understand like what in the world could be the issue, right? Looking on the outside at his life. And that's why I focus so much on it. I don't want to say it doesn't matter. I'm saying that whatever it is that's trapped in your mind, right? It's important to that individual. And what we got to somehow break into, we got to like fight to cut those barriers down, is to figure out how can we deal with whatever was going on in his mind. How can we get a better outcome, a better coping mechanism? Because his coping mechanism was unfortunately, led to him not being with us anymore, right? And so that's what I have to say about that. It's really, like I said, it doesn't matter. Like you would think, there's a lot of this happens not just to him. I mean, we're talking about black men, but we
Yeah.
could talk about Patrice O'Neal. One of you guys love talking about Patrice O'Neal. He died of complications from diabetes,
Correct.
right, at a very young age. At a
Yeah.
very young
Yeah, he
age,
was overweight. We can look at him and tell even when
right?
he was doing his
And
stand up, he was heavy.
in terms of people that are famous and popular, the comedian, I forgot what his name was, who there's so many, we can go on,
Yeah. Five
right?
Dog. Yeah. You know.
So many, oh my God, Five Dog, yeah. But he had Five Dog he grew up with, I think it was
Who was Five
sickle
Dog?
cell.
Who was Five Dog?
Tribe Called Quest.
He had diabetes as well.
His
Yeah.
diabetes and sickle cell.
Hmm.
People who have sickle cell, they don't usually make it until old age. Is a very debilitating, but you're born with that. There's nothing you can really do about it. You could just manage it,
Mm-hmm.
right? But that's why I want to focus. I'm glad you brought this up on whatever it was that was in his mind, that he was dealing with, that stress, that whatever it was. We have to find a way. And so that's why I mentioned, like, I love the fact that OG Patrice mentioned all these wonderful things, but I want us, when we're talking about, coping mechanisms, not to leave out the gym, not to leave out positive things that can make you feel good, that we
Yeah,
focus a
I
lot
did say
on,
exercise.
yeah,
Yeah, I did say
exercise
that.
as well. Our community, this not our community focuses so much on decorating our body. We feel bad.
Mm.
We want to get a new hair. We want to go to get a new hairstyle.
Mm-hmm.
We want to get our nails done. We want to get all these different things. Nothing wrong with
Mm.
that, but
To
I
make
wish
us feel better on the outside when the inside is where we need to be working on.
exactly.
I agree with you
We decorate
100%,
ourselves like a
Candy.
Christmas tree, right? We
Mm-hmm.
decorate ourselves like a Christmas tree. Put the Gucci. We got songs about the Gucci, the Fendi, the Nike, the Jordans, the this, that, and all this other kind of crap. And hey, that's all fun. I love perfume, but we got to focus on that. What was broken inside of him that wasn't corrected,
And
and
it's
that's
got to be
where
a
we got
mental
to
health
focus.
issue too. Anytime you're doing self deletion, it's something mentally going on as well with you. It's not just probably underlying health conditions
Well,
that he dealt with.
I want to say what I want to say is that unfortunately, see what happens with black men. We have been conditioned to have a disdain for each other, and the more virtuous you are, the more hated you are, right? So we're not in a position where if we want to be accepted by our peer group, we can't be virtuous. We have to be cunning and conniving, and we have to be after the bag, and we have to be after some type of validation from our that our peer. We have to adopt the value system of our peer group, like as Dr. Kunjufu was saying. We have to adopt the the stuff that our
Philosophy.
peer group thinks is good. You know what I'm saying? Their likes and what they like, if we want to be liked by them, right? And so a lot of us have sometimes we feel like even though we've done all these things, inside nobody really likes us. And sometimes we have, even though we have all this stuff, and we got all these people around us, we're really lonely. We really have nobody to help us to feel, and that we need that
Validation.
interaction, validation from other people to feel like we're something. And when we don't have it, this causes us to have stress and just say, you know what? Because really, when people do the self-deletion, they're in such pain, they just want to end the pain.
Yes.
And they're willing to take the nuclear option to end that pain, in my opinion. So how do we get around that, or how do we develop strategies or ways around this and reinforce that it's okay that you may not have? So how we did it in the past, we just told you to look to the Lord, right? So we didn't necessarily need the validation of other people, because people told you, hey, just look to the Lord, right?
That's true,
But
bro. Class. They think we could pray everything away.
Right. Well, sometimes it helped us, sometimes it didn't. But you know what? We a lot of times we misapplied that information, right? We applied that to situations where you can't just pray. You gotta do some other things as well, right? But my point being, let me clear up my point. My point being is that we need to have a way as a community, because I'm talking about in particular Black people. I know it's everybody in America, because America is a stressful place, but in particular us, there's the high levels of this situation where we got young men going to the hospital at 30 years old, 40 years old, dying at 50. That's just crazy, right? But it's a high, and it's constantly increasing and growing. And so how do we insert into our culture as Black people a way so that we can reward a person for being virtuous, and not necessarily put our children on a path that they need the validation of other people? Because I think when that gets snatched from them, that's what happens. Or do you guys agree or disagree?
I agree with you 100%. And what you're bringing up, it really is a very poignant point, because it's like a rabbit hole. There's so many different things that we can do better. One of these things, and I'll mention, is, obviously to have a community. We might not have a huge community, but if there's one or two people that you admire, the way they're moving, the way you admire the way they do things, there's nothing wrong with opening up your mouth and saying, hey, like, I see the way you talk to people, like people respect you when you speak. How do I be like that? How do I increase my vernacular? How do I gain respect? I don't know, whatever it is that you see in someone else, we can't be afraid to ask them, how can I be more like you? I see that you lost 100 pounds. How'd you do it? Like, what'd you do? Like, I can't understand. I'm struggling here, right? Another thing I want us to do is stop trying to expose each other all the damn time. Like, I don't know what it is about this culture in which we want to expose one another to the detriment, where now we are afraid. The reason why I mentioned that this exposure thing is because we can't trust. I can't come to OG Patrice and say, hey, I'm struggling with such and such, if I don't know she's going to expose me on the back end when she gets pissed off with me, right? So that's why I mentioned that. I know I'm saying it and it sounds, hey, I'm kind of funny or whatever, but but it's important that we stop trying to expose, unless it's something like someone is really, really, really coming after your neck where it is a life and death situation. We have a culture here of trying to expose every damn thing to the point where now we feel like we can't even open up to one another and seek any kind of guidance, because the first thing that happens is, oh, well, it was me. I'm the one that told him he was supposed to do that. He owes. And it's like you can't even like form a community because we can't trust one another with any intimacy, any kind of anything like that. A couple of other things. I mean, I could go off the rip. I'm not trying to take over your show, because I told you I'm passionate about this and I have a lot to say, right? Another thing we got to do is, as it pertains to our health, we got to have insurance. We got to have a plan. We can't just fly off the rip thinking, well, I'm going to be dead, so I don't care what happens to me. This leaves our children in foster care. It leaves them up to not being abused because there's no plan in place for them, because you're passed away early, and now they are not only emotionally hurt, they're subjected to predators out here, right? You should have, Brother Clarence, I hope you have a living will. If something happens to you, have you spoken to a lawyer? Do you know? Do you
Trust
have a
and a
will?
will. Trust and a will.
Praise God, right? We need to have a living will, because oftentimes someone ends up in, say, God forbid, there's a catastrophic situation, someone gets shot, or I don't know, whatever, God forbid something happens. We don't talk about how we don't talk about how we want we're all gonna die, and we avoid this conversation too much. And I say this because I think it would be easier if Mr. Harris was my husband, right? And I had ailment, and I told him one of two things. I could either tell him, you know what, Mr. Harris, you're my husband. I trust you'll know what to do when the time is ready, right? And all of a sudden, he's put in a situation. Like these tubes are coming out of everywhere. You don't know what to do. He's stressed out. And he doesn't know if he made the right choice. The family members are on his ass about it. You pull the plug on my mama, you pull the plug on my auntie. And now he got stressed from the family. He got nobody trusts him. Where's he supposed to go? As opposed to if I said to him, you know what? These are my choices. I'm writing them down. This is what I want. And it's so much more easier if our family members can honor our choices, as opposed to having to make them for us because we are too scared and too pussyfoot to make these choices for ourselves. It's not just the stress of the funeral, the financial stress. It is emotionally, like it's so stressful to have to decide to pull the plug on somebody. Did you make the right choice? I don't know if I killed my mama. I don't know if I killed my auntie. That's stressful as
People
hell.
start. Man, I know people
The
have.
family
Candace, you
comes
so
out and will
right.
rip you apart for that. So if we can
People
honor,
feel guilty right today. Feel like if I'd have let her stayed on a little longer on the ventilator, or
right? These
maybe
are
we
all
took
kinds
about all, and they deal with that guilt for years
for
and years
years
and
and years
years.
and years. So I encourage everyone out here, let your wishes be known. Decide what you want. Don't put that burden, that mental, it's going to be a financial burden. I hope you have insurance and a trust, right? But don't put that mental turmoil on somebody. Let your husband honor. He could say, you know what? It wasn't what I wanted, but I'm going to honor my wife because I know this is not what she wanted. I know she didn't want to be put in a ventilator. I know she didn't want blah, 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 because I spoke to her about this. She wrote it down. We don't have to fuss. The family don't have to come after my neck. There's a lot of things that we can do and put in place. Sometimes you can't avoid situations, right? Things happen, right? But I'll stop right there before I go off on a more of a tangent.
Yeah.
I'm very
Patrice
passionate
or
about this
Mr.
stuff, I'm
Harris, you guys
sorry.
got anything to say about that?
No,
I'll let Mr.
Candid
Harris
Ann was
speak.
cooking. Candid Ann, you were cooking. I agree wholeheartedly with the things you were saying. Just consciousness, well-roundedness. She alluded to the analogy with the Gucci and things of that nature, and that's exactly where I am. I think if you have a certain level of astuteness in one area, you can absolutely be expected for it to be applied in others. And if you have the Italian and foreign car and foreign belt, and you sit by the pool drinking your expensive wine, I think you should absolutely be able to be reading your life insurance and managing your 401k, IRA, things of the latter years, because like she said, you do not want to leave those things to be up for question. And if these are not the conversations that we're having about what would you do in the case of, and how are we supposed to move forward as a family if this happens, then I think, you're absolutely having the wrong conversations, or not wrong, but they could be concentrated in other areas. And just like, Candid Ann said, just that consciousness, if you can move with a certain level of consciousness, I think that you'll have the, practicality and the realistic thought process of seeing things through to the end, and, governing yourself accordingly. For me, I was lucky. I'm a New Yorker, so I started out kind of practicing. I gravitated to the nation. We gravitate away from the pork, everything unhealthy. I'm looking for halal places to eat, and this is as a teenager. So just having that practice as a youngster, it was really easy for me to grab a fruit and drink some water. And then I went and got married, and that's going to add some years to your life, because your wife is going to throw a water in your hand if she don't see you with one. So fellas, I suggest that you go that route if it's possible. I'm sorry, Candidate.
No,
I'm
you
just saying
you
that's
that's
facts,
true.
because men, they talk about like all these women. Listen, you get married, men tend to live longer when they are married, so that's
Absolutely.
facts.
Absolutely.
And,
At
and
least
I want to
5 years.
add, yeah, and I want to add, definitely to what Candid Ann was saying. I keep calling her Candace because I got a girlfriend named Candace and a cousin named Candace, so it just naturally coming out of my mouth. Candid Ann definitely was speaking facts, but I want to ask a question. I don't know how true it is or not. This is just what I've been hearing on the YouTube streets when it comes to Kevin Samuels, and I'll say this from my own self, because I had to stop drinking the energy drinks because they started making me sick and giving me headaches. I used to be addicted to Monster. Now I heard he was used to always drink an energy drink, or had an energy drink whenever he whatever he was drinking, or it was always on his desk or whatever. And I'm hearing that the what they've been saying about the health status when it comes to these energy drinks, and people think they good for you because it's like, oh, I just need that kick, that boost. I see so many people have them in their hands in the morning, coming in to work. If it's not coffee, it's an energy drink, or right in the midday when they say, "Ooh, I'm about to crash. I need that boost," right? And I remember being addicted to Monsters, and literally had started worrying, start getting headaches and jitters and things like that, and going to the doctor, and he was asking everything about my diet, and I told him that I drank Monster every day because I just needed that kick, that boost. I'm not a coffee drinker. And he was like, no, you got to lay off the energy drinks. And, as soon as I laid off them, I went through the withdrawals of the headaches real bad for a while, the same way I did when I was addicted to Coca-Colas, because I was addicted to
Yes, I was just
Coca-Colas,
gonna
right?
say that.
So
Sugar.
it was the caffeine. And so I don't know if it's true. So that's my question. I want to ask Candace, as a health care provider, is things like that contribute to, if you have underlying health conditions, things like that doesn't make it worse, and
So
can
there's a
contribute to the health problem as well.
Absolutely. Like, I don't know Kevin Samuels, like his labs and all. I mean, I know that he was on a beta blocker. Anything that ends in LOL is a beta blocker as it pertains to these medications. And that is something that you're doing for blood pressure, right? So, but like, just about
No, I'm talking about the
the
the drinks.
monster, the
Like,
drinks,
yeah,
yeah.
because people had said something about they used to see him all the time on his
Red
desk
Bull,
with
actually.
Right.
Red Bull or
I'm
something
just
like
saying
that. Yeah, do the
all of
shows and
those,
stuff.
right? So all of those things, right? A surplus. Can I just tell you, too much water is not good for you.
Right.
Okay, people out here thinking, I'm
Talk
gonna
to
drink
him,
a gallon of
sis. Talk
water.
to him.
Okay, yeah, too much of anything is not good for you. You can probably say, I'm sure you can stay away from crack cocaine all your life and you'll be fine. You will never have no problems. I ain't talking about that. Okay. But we have this idea that so he could have taken one monster a day and probably would have been okay. I don't, but unfortunately with a health condition, maybe he needed half, or maybe just a regular ass cup of coffee, as opposed I hear those monster things have like the equivalent of, I'm not sure if it's 5 or 8 cups of coffee and one drink. Maybe just drink one black coffee and that be it. We really got to talk about moderation. So like I said, those energy drinks, I'm not saying that they're horrible for you, you'll die if you take them or whatever, but too much of anything is not good for you, especially if you have an underlying condition that's exasperated by the sugar and the energy. So you got to think about all those things.
Yeah,
Absolutely. And
it's
again,
people
just
that
the,
drink.
oh, I'm sorry, OG, you
One more
go.
thing, it's people if you go to like bars or like certain bars, I've noticed, especially the younger generation, they drink a Red Bull with vodka and they call it some kind of drink. I forget the name of it, but they are starting to drink the Red Bulls in the alcohol, and I got to think that has absolutely got to be like overkill when it comes to overly with the sugar, then overly with the alcohol mixed
But
together. They
even if you
call it a bomb, like a bomb something or
even
something.
if you take away the Red Bull, OG, Patrice, how many of how growing up we drink soda, like for every single meal we're having soda.
Yeah, I just said I was addicted to
Yeah.
Coca-Colas. I will admit, and it was hard, getting off it and going through the withdrawals and having the headaches and stuff. So yeah, from the caffeine. But absolutely, you're right.
Man, my wife wanted to beat me up. I started drinking those monsters, and I saw it went from one a week to one a day. I said, "What are you drinking all these monsters for?" I just need to help me do that. I said, "Nah, I stopped that." She was irritable for about 2 weeks. But
Mhm.
I'm sorry, excuse me, I had an apple in my mouth. But after she got through with that process of the toxin from it, she was much better. She was much better. She could think clear. Her joints didn't hurt as much. It was a lot better thing for her. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So
Absolutely.
Go ahead, Mr. Harrison. You were gonna say something.
Yeah, I just was gonna speak to the consciousness of it, like Sister Candid was saying that the combination of things we have to be aware of if we're taking beta blockers and we're drinking energy drinks and we smoking cigars and we have to be aware of how we're ingesting these things and how they react with others. I had a friend that was just asthmatic and he had like a buterol pump, but he took some aspirin and I believe he smoked some weed, and just the combination just wasn't conducive. He did not stay with us. And it just, created a level of consciousness that, man, a combination of things can take you out with the wrong combination. And
Right.
like you guys were all just saying that, it might not be just the energy drink, it might not be just the beta blockers, but we have to be conscious that I'm this particular type of person that's on this particular medication. Maybe, like Sister Candidate said, maybe a cold glass of water or some herbal tea, some Earl Grey. Again, just the level of awareness in well-roundedness that we don't have to just go to the pop culture rum and Red Bull, vodka and Red Bull, Incredible Hulk or whatever. We can do water, we can do mint tea, we can do cucumber water, we could do so many alternatives. Carrot juice is amazing, and it's just the level of consciousness that we display, and it just makes me upset again to see somebody with driving a Bentley that don't know they need a license and a registration for it, or you got this Italian belt and you got these Italian cars, but you don't know that a glass of water is conducive to health. And like the brother is eating an apple because an apple a day keeps the doctor away. I'm gonna leave it
Right.
there.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
right.
fact. That's
yeah,
facts. I agree totally. I just I do wish because I've had the conversation with one of my brothers that I know battled health issues, and I watched him, battle with the weight issue, and I'm like, hey, yo, bro, I think that we need to have the conversations with each other, and I know it's uncomfortable because even sometimes even your family members get mad at you when you have that conversation, especially when you talk about how you see them gaining weight, you know what I mean, and ain't not eating healthy, it could turn into an argument literally because my brother was like, I think they first defense is mind your own business, don't worry about what I'm, my weight. I get it. Like I think that's the first line of defense, but I think if we can come to them as calmly and lovingly as possible, because I say, yo, bro, I love you and I want you to be around for a long, long time. You got grown daughters now, but don't you want to walk them down the aisle, or live to see this, live to see a great grand, or something like that. Maybe start the conversation off like that, because I get it. We so sensitive, especially when it comes to things about our weight and our health, and a lot of times your health issues is quote unquote a private issue. People just don't like to talk about it. But it definitely need to be conversations had more about, especially for men, because you guys are just freaking stubborn. You guys just it's like pulling teeth to get you all just to go to the regular once a year checkup. It's
Yeah.
like Candid Ann said she literally had to threaten divorce for her husband, like to
Yeah.
get him to do the right.
Yeah.
Like we don't,
Yeah.
as Black women, we don't want that, because Black men are so needed in the home, so needed in the communities. You guys are the leaders, and we want y'all to live, to be around for a long, long time. And it is just certain things that if you do and acquiesce with us on, you live healthy, alive. Listen to your wives more when it comes to health issues, and yeah, encourage. Start. Let's go, babe. Let's go to the gym together. Let us both sign up, for the gym, and start working out. And we gonna make time to do this. And we gonna motivate each other. When you might not feel like it, you dragging me. When I might not feel like it, I'm dragging you. Whatever. Let's do it, and be that motivation for each other, because we need to live longer than what we live, and especially our Black men who are dying off faster. Like you said, 30s, 40s, and even in marriages, we even know statistically in marriages, the women tend to outlive the men. So just know, men, that the odds are against you all more than it is any other race of people out here when you talking health wise. So
Patrice.
yes,
Patrice.
sir.
I don't mean to interrupt you. Mr. Harris got to
Yes.
go, so I want him to get
Yep.
some final words in here,
Of
and
course.
then let him go.
Nice
I
meeting you,
want to
Mr.
thank
Harris.
y'all. Thank y'all for having me. Candid Ann, it was such a pleasure to meet you. I will be subscribing to you immediately after leaving here.
Oh, I
And
appreciate
Brother
it.
Clarence, I appreciate you for having me. I appreciate you, OG Patrice, and everything that y'all do, the content that y'all bring. Y'all don't know how much of a fan I am. You guys are just cut from that old school cloth when y'all did that Claudine and y'all did that mahogany. It was just gold because y'all were hitting on so many points, and it's just needed, man. And you see, I got the Cornbread Earl and Me shirt on. I'm just, this
Oh
is,
my God, I love that
I'm just,
movie.
Oh
I'm
no!
That's
just
the
cut from that
movie.
cloth, and it just, that
Yes.
time
Cornbread.
resonates with me so much, and I just
Gotta
love
do
what
one
y'all
on
do.
that one. Let's do one. Listen, Mr. Harris, let's collab and do one on the Cornbread Earl and Me, because
That
they don't
sounds
even
great.
know.
That sounds great. But y'all are an inspiration. And I don't know if y'all know, but people are watching y'all and people admire y'all. And like the Candid Ann said, I'm one that is not ashamed to let somebody know I admire what they're doing. And you guys know that me and the missus, we love y'all. We admire y'all. And thank you for having me every time. It's always a great conversation.
Okay, let me
That's
throw you
so
a rose
dope.
real quick.
Same
Let
to
me throw
you,
you a
Mr.
rose real
Harris.
quick, Mr. Harris.
Hmm.
I'll flow through and watch you and your wife, your beautiful wife. Sometimes when you guys are having things, there may not be that many people out there. So I'm gonna tell you like they used to tell me. But people is watching, man. To see a
Yep,
black
keep at it.
man be with a black woman,
Yes.
and to see that you guys can discuss things, and it's a beautiful thing, man. And
Yeah.
so y'all keep doing what y'all doing. Y'all keep doing what y'all doing.
Mhm.
Because they told me the same thing. Oh, Clarence, I would get down and I have people like Sister Enya and Risa Neal, people in the chat, and they would say, at Quantum, they would say to me, Brother Clarence, just keep going. Even this sister here, Patrice, keep going, man. People are digging what you're doing, man. No, it ain't a lot of people in here. So I'm giving you that same flower, brother. Keep doing what you're
Yep.
doing because you're representing out there, you and your wife. Peace to you, man. I know you got to go.
Yeah. Salute to you and the missus.
All right.
That's so dope. That's
Yeah, I
dope.
just
Yeah,
But
man.
wanted to add one thing, I won't be long. I wanted to add, we've spoken a little bit. I think Miss Patrice had mentioned something. I forgot what it was because now I can't remember. But I want to speak about the cooking. Oh yeah, I remember what it is. I want to encourage people that even if you have a spouse that doesn't want to go to the gym with you, that doesn't want to eat right, be the change. Right? You might have to go by yourself. You might have to go to the gym by yourself, and they might have to see you actually lose the weight. They might have to see your dedication. They
Good
might have to
point.
see how
That's
serious you
true.
are before they actually are inspired. So don't be discouraged if your spouse or your girlfriend or whomever says, "No, I don't want to go." Don't be discouraged. You pick up by yourself and you go. I want to talk about real quick. I won't be long about this food. A lot of men want a woman that cooks. I would implore Black men to be mindful of what this woman is putting in front of you in terms of food. If this woman really loves you, is she putting crap in front of you to feed you? What is she going to feed your legacy? A lot of you men want a legacy. You want children. What is this woman going to feed your legacy? Right? And so if you have a woman that refuses, I was talking to Kauai Bree, and she was talking about how she absolutely refuses to cook fried food in her house. And her husband was pissy about it. He was like, "Why can't you just go ahead and fry the chicken?" She's like, "No, no, that's a woman that loves you. That is a woman that loves you because she's thinking more deeply, not just about feeding your belly, but about nourishing you.
Right.
Right. So I want people to think more deeply, not just about a woman that cooks, but what is she feeding you? And lastly, I'm going to talk about, I know oftentimes, because we have a problem with wealth in this community as it pertains to, I hear, brother, you've always talking about like getting your money up. And you talked about, even before this, you're talking about finding jobs and
Yes.
finding certain, right. And it's important. And we talk about generational wealth oftentimes, but I want us to discuss generational health. Okay, generational health, because it starts from what we feed each other, how the next generation is going to pick up these nasty habits or pick up good
Yeah.
habits. And that starts to break the cycle in which we're feeding ourselves, we're feeding our children, that we can live longer and enjoy each other.
Yeah.
Let me
So
ask you
I'll get
this,
off my
Candid
soapbox. I'm
Ann.
sorry.
Let me ask you this because
Yes.
I know, I was paying close attention to my mom's health issue, with her high blood pressure and everything. So I ordered her, like you said, I ordered her a high blood pressure kit to have at home to always take her blood pressure, right? And I had it sent, ordered from Amazon, had it sent straight to her. And I remember she was having a lot of issues with finding the right medication. And if you can talk about that a little bit, because when you're first being discovered, that you have high blood pressure, and a doctor tell you, hey, you're going to have to be on this medication. They will run all these tests on you, and they will prescribe a medication of what they think that will match to whatever your blood work or your whatever your body type is, but sometimes that don't work out. I remember going through this thing with my mom. She had to try about 5 different medications before she found the one that worked best with her and gave her less side effects. Can you talk a little bit about that? Because she struggled with different what the medications was doing to her as far as the side effects. So can you talk about that a little bit before you get out of here, of how important it is for us to find the medication that best work for us? Because sometimes we tend to give up and they'll stop and they won't take it at all, or they'll just take the one that may give them the worst side effect without even giving others a try. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Okay, yeah, so I have to be careful here because I don't want to give out the wrong information. But you are very right. One of the things that, like I said earlier, we have 3 people on the panel, and let's pretend all 3 of us have hypertension. That's not to say that you can give us all the same medication and we're going to get the same results, right? So keeping that in mind, we all have one head, two arms, two legs, and we kind of look the same, but we are not the same. We have certain sensitivities. A bee might sting me and it will just kind of annoy me. A bee might sting you, Miss OG Patrice, and you'll go into anaphylactic reaction, right? I
Right.
I tell people that at the hospital, I use that example with the bee a lot because this question
Mhm.
that you're asking me is something that I get asked a lot. So thank you for bringing it up. You do have to work with your doctor, right? That's not to say they're trying to push medications off on you. Like I said about the bee sting, how I can get stung by a bee, it irritates me. You get stung by a bee, anaphylactic reaction. The same thing happens when you take some of these medications. One thing might work well for me and it might be horrible for you, right? On
Mhm.
top of that, you might have 2 or 3 underlying conditions that you have to be careful of when I might not have those conditions. So the what I can say is overall you do have to check in with your doctor, be cognizant of um the side effects. Can you live with it? Everything has a side effect.
Mhm.
Every single thing has a side effect. You drink too much Henny, you have a side effect. You decide to live with it, right? Some people, right? You decide to live with a hangover. I get it. Some people take water pills and it makes you have to urinate all day, or you have to urinate all night and you can't sleep. And it's frustrating, right? So there's side effects to a lot of different things. And you have to figure out, you have to work with your doctor and have communication with your doctor and decide like what can you live with, what can you manage, because this is your health. And so
Yeah.
it's not, I don't have a one size fit all answer because, like I said, back and forth with the B, what works for me might not work
Might
for
not
you,
work for you.
right?
Right.
So there's no
Yeah.
one size fit all. There's lots of blood pressure medications. So many. And the reason
Yes,
why
it
you have
is.
and the reason why you have high blood pressure might be completely different from why I have high blood pressure. I spoke a lot about arteriosclerosis because that's one of the leading factors, but you can have a pituitary gland problem that got nothing to do with
Mhm.
your arteries. Right?
Mhm.
You can have a hereditary congenital situation that has nothing to do with, so you got to figure out what is the cause of your blood pressure. You got to work with your doctor and figure out what the cause is because the solution might be something completely different.
You're absolutely right. I'm glad you brought that to light because I didn't think about that. But yeah, just because two people may have hypertension doesn't mean they have hypertension for the same reason.
It might
You're
not be from the
absolutely
same
right.
cause. It might be
Yep.
something completely different. Yeah. And so that's why
Thank
it's
you so
important
much
to figure out why.
for
Yeah.
shedding that light. And I think you're right. It is important, even if you don't have hypertension, to have a blood pressure kit in your home. I have one, and I don't have hypertension, but I notice uh, and I don't know, and I want to ask y'all this too, because notice I think I experienced my blood pressure going up at 3 different times in my life. When I was having my son in the hospital, my blood pressure went up. When I was sick, when I caught the C-19, it went up. And if I have an extreme migraine, right? It sometime it'll go up more than usual, and I don't suffer from high blood pressure. So Candace, as a nurse, there are times
Yes.
it just agreed that your blood pressure can go up and you don't have to have high blood pressure. It's certain things that can cause it to go up in that moment,
Yes.
right? So
Yes.
I think that's important too to tell
Remember I
people
told you
because
about the sympathetic nervous system. If I'm running
hmm
from a bear or I'm getting served with child support papers, it doesn't matter. My heart rate is still going to go up. If I'm sick and I'm not feeling well, certain things can happen regardless, right? But so those are situations that you just come back from the gym, your heart's going to be racing, your blood pressure is going to be a little bit up. You had an argument with your
elevated.
boyfriend, your girlfriend, your heart rate might, you're in pain.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
normally don't even have high blood pressure, but you are in pain. You got cramps. Blood pressure might be up. So when you take your blood pressure, and the number for anyone that doesn't know, it's 120 over 80. That's just universal. We want it to
the
be less than
normal.
120 over 80. Um,
Right.
you want to be sitting down, relax for at least 15 minutes, and not in any pain, not coming back from the gym, not frustrated, not aggravated and pissed off. Don't watch YouTube. Don't be getting on no panels.
And
Right?
also,
Just be
Candace,
chilling out. Just chill out
eh,
for 15 minutes, not in any kind of pain. You're in a good, relaxed state of mind, and that's the time. That's the opportune time to take the reading. And one high reading doesn't say that you have high blood pressure, right? One does.
right, right, right,
You have to
right.
have
I just noticed that
consistently
it
have a
went up
high,
during those times.
yeah,
Hmm.
consistently have a high reading, even though, like, wait, I'm relaxed. This is Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Life is going good, but my number is 150 over 92. I don't understand. Well, that's the point where you got to check in with somebody and realize, hey, what's going on? And sometimes you can catch it early enough where you might be able to make a holistic choice in terms of looking at your food and exercise, and that might be enough for you.
And Candace,
It might
and
not be
Candace,
for someone else. It might be something way more detrimental for someone else where they might need medication. But if you check in with yourself and you're on top of these things, it's very possible to catch these things early with diet and exercise, with a change in lifestyle.
yes, and Candace too. I think a lot of times this is when the accidental overdoses can happen, is when we don't realize that it's happened for a lot of people, and some have not come back from it and some have. If you're not aware of, if you've taken specific medications and you take something with something else, it can cause an accidental overdose, right? Like, you hear so many people, like, you might not know, like I might not know, say for instance, if I'm on a heart condition medication, right, and I accidentally take the wrong cold medication, right, and that can cause a accidental problem. But see, a lot of times what we don't do too, and let's kind of, if you can kind of touch on that, we don't read the fine print that say don't mix this if you're on this, that. Remember how, the back of the medication saying if you take this, if you're on like this, that, this is not a good medication to take with that. And a lot of times it can, because we don't tend to read the back of medication bottles. Especially if we're in pain, we might have a heart condition, but you just want something to get rid of that migraine you got, but you just go and grab something and take it, and not realizing that it don't mix with that heart medication that you've been on for 20
Okay,
years
so
or
I'll
whatever.
speak to that really quickly. I'll speak to that very, very quickly. Yes, you are 100% right. One thing I'll let you know, that older people tend to wear glasses we don't see as well, and that fine print is small as hell. Who can read it? Let's be realistic. It's small as hell and we can't see it. So
Yeah,
we
I
think,
think
oh,
we
it's
just
pilot.
not reading it up, period, though, for the
Right.
most part.
We think, oh, it's over the counter. We think, oh, it's over the counter. It must be okay. These over the counter medications can kill you.
Good
Okay.
point.
So
Good point.
therefore, go to the pharmacist. If you have questions, the pharmacist is there. Say, hey, listen, I'm taking this. They're experts. They know more about pharmacy stuff than nurses, and sometimes even more than doctors. I'm not saying always, but sometimes, right? They are there. Go to them and say, hey, listen, I'm taking this beta blocker. I'm taking metformin. I'm taking whatever it is. Is it okay if I go ahead and take this Benadryl also? Is it going to leave me what's
Right.
just go to your pharmacist. These people are there. They have the counters right there open. You ask them. They're a great resource. Don't rely on Google. They've got degrees in this. They are the experts in this.
Thank
Like,
you for
ask
saying
them
that.
questions, because you can't always see what's written on that. Even if you could see it, do you understand all that
Right.
lingo?
Exactly.
Who can understand all
Exactly.
that stuff on the back there? Let me tell you, Tylenol can kill you.
Mm-hmm.
Tylenol can kill you. Don't think that just because it's over the counter that it's safe and you can do it as much as you want. I've had patients, I remember very specifically a construction worker who came in with what we call bright red blood per rectum, bleeding out of his ass. Why did that happen? Because he was in pain all the time. And so before work, for years and years and years, he took I'm not sure if it was Tylenol or Advil. I'm sorry, Tylenol or aspirin, one of those two. I can't remember which one it was. But for years and years, he'll just take 2 before work, take 2 after work. He couldn't even remember how many years he was doing it, right? Until it caused an ulcer. And until he
Oh,
was pooping blood. He realized
God,
what the hell is
ulcers,
going on, and he ran
painful.
into the hospital. This is a young man. It's not an old man. This is a construction worker, healthy,
Yeah,
right? So
yeah.
I'm not telling you not to ever take these medications. I'm just saying that, like, you got to be careful, even with over the counter stuff. You can't just make an assumption that's over the counter and you can take as much of it as you want to. I had a gentleman just 2 weeks ago. He was found on the parking lot ground with a bottle of cough syrup in his hands because he's an alcoholic and he's taking cough syrup like crazy. And the two things, he
Ooh,
literally was found in the parking lot face down.
Oh
oh
man.
my God.
Terrible.
Right.
Yeah.
So these
Ugh.
things can yeah, these over the counter things, you still got to be careful with them. So just go ahead and ask a question. Ask the pharmacist.
And that's my
Yeah.
point, because I was getting ready to say we won't read the back because we just think it's okay, or we won't even, like you said, go up to the pharmacist and ask the question. We just won't. Sometimes we just won't do it, and we'll think that it's okay to mix medications with other medications, not knowingly, so that it can cause harm and even be fatal to us. So thank you for
Oh, of course, of course. I
just
want
kind of clearing that up.
I want people that are hearing this to be more patient with themselves. I know it's like when you're going into a farm, you're going into CVS or Walgreens or wherever drugstore you want to be in and out of there. I would
Right.
say, right, you want to be in and out.
Yeah, we all in a hurry, right? You're right.
Get the hell out of there.
Right,
You ain't trying to be,
right.
but listen, we will stand online for tickets for a show. We'll stand
Hmm.
online for the
For
latest
things we
sneakers.
want, things we like.
Things
Yeah.
that, exactly. So I'm asking you to be more patient with yourself, especially when it pertains to matters that really matter. I'm just asking the public to please be more patient with yourself because these things matter, and we have no issue standing online to get the new. The new Air. I don't know, Nike Jordan thing. I don't even know what the stuff is.
Or
Right?
when the new iPhone come out, the
New
lines be round
iPhones.
the corner,
Oh,
down the
good
street, up
one.
the block.
We'll stand online for that stuff, but no problem. We'll make conversation with the person in front of us and the person behind us,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
But
facts.
we're not as patient when it comes to just taking a couple of minutes to the side and checking in on these things. So I just beg you guys to be more patient with yourself.
Yeah, great.
Nurse.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. We're gonna start trying to wrap the show up. So we're gonna try to get some closing remarks from everybody. Nurse Candy, then I mean, you made the show, man. You made the show. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I could have talked about it, but having that professional in the industry come in and talk say some of the things you were saying, or all of the things you were saying, that just made the show, man. And I hope people will look at it and get a lot out of it, man, because you really told a lot of good stuff about how to get around having this bad health that we seem to pass down. We
Mm-hmm.
pass down generational bad health, right,
Yes, we
to
do.
our people, man. So thank you for showing up. And if you would you give us a synopsis of your opinion and closing remarks or solutions, comments, or questions or answers, whatever you want to say?
Well, first off, thank you very much for having me on here. I have been nervous to talk about some of these things because I know that these shows won't be as popular, and
Correct.
I get a little bit frustrated because of what I see on a day-to-day basis, and then it's kind of like I feel like I'm screaming and I'm screaming to nothing, to no one. So I thank you for having me, for even picking this topic, right? Closing remarks, I would just tell people the easiest thing well, it's not easy, right? But I would love to see people be a little bit more proactive, because prevention is the best cure, right? That still is amazing. And so if we can somehow tap into preventing some of these things, I'm not telling you that you have to eat sticks and you can never enjoy your Hennessy and you can't do certain things. I'm not saying that, I'm talking about like moderation. I'm talking
Correct.
about like finding a circle of people that you can talk to, and knowing that your trust is secure with these people, right? And I would like us as a community to talk to one another, about some of our experiences. I speak a little bit sometimes when it talks about blood pressure. I tell Black men when I'm speaking to them at the hospital, I tell them about erectile dysfunction. I've never seen a panel of Black men talking about their problems with erectile dysfunction. Everyone out here is rock hard and ready to go, right?
Yeah, you ain't gonna see that, but they can sure talk about how women are
No, never
304s
Right.
though.
But the fact of the matter is, and the reason why I bring that up is because that is an indication for a underlining health issue, and these are things that we don't talk about in our community. Now, I'm not saying that you'll just be okay talking about it online or whatever, but if you can talk about it in the privacy with your doctor, or with a nurse that that you feel comfortable, that will keep your secrets or whatever you want to, you got to talk about it with somebody, because it's not going to go away. I would love people to be a little bit more proactive. I don't want people to make excuses, and that might not be the best verbiage, because there are some real excuses. There's a lot going on out here. I understand life is stressful, but what I know about the human condition is we will make something happen when we want it to happen. People that are on drugs, they find a way to get drugs. They don't have a job, Brother Clarence, but they gonna get their drugs. They're gonna rob your ass if they have to, beg, borrow, and steal.
Right.
They're going to do
Facts.
whatever they have to, because I
Facts.
need this fix. I got to
Facts.
get this fix. And if we
Right.
were as adamant about certain things, right? You might not be able to run because you have a knee issue or whatever. Talk to someone else about what can you do. I don't know. What can you do? Can you do the spin or something? Can you, what? I don't know. I'm just making it up on the fly. What can you do? What can you take out of your diet? Like these sugary drinks in the morning, that the crappuccino that we're sucking
Frappuccino,
down all the
mocha,
time.
chocolate, ya.
That stuff is all those shots of sugar, those shots of stuff, that's not breakfast. That's a dessert at this point. The whipped cream and all that junk that we put on.
Yeah.
You just got to take a look at what you're doing. And I'm not saying that you're going to make a 180. I'm saying start somewhere. Maybe start with a little bit less. Maybe take out the soda this week for 2 weeks. Just to stop drinking soda, right? Just drink water. Right. Maybe stop whatever it is. Maybe instead of this week, walk for half an hour. Then maybe next 2 weeks you can jog. I recently started jumping rope. That costs $10. Like, come on now, jumping rope. You can do that almost anywhere. You can be outside, and that's even better for you than running in terms of cardiovascular health.
Cardio,
You
yeah.
can literally just jump rope. There's so many different things. I just want people to be proactive. Stress is real. I empathize with that. I understand that. I understand the frustration of these medications, the cost of these different things. I completely understand and I empathize with it. But I want to tell people, you have more power today than you've had prior. And so utilize that power. I know that we don't have a great community here, but we have you. If you can find 1 or 2 people, I get on this YouTube and I look for people that have the same problem. I just watching their videos encourages me. I don't have to make a comment. I don't have to even come up on the panel. Just seeing other people do it is encouraging enough for me to say, I'm going to get out of my house. I'm going to jump rope today. So find wherever you can pull encouragement from, just find it from somewhere and make a change, because we're dying out here, brothers and sisters. We are dying way too young. And if you Black men, you say that nobody loves you, nobody cares about a Black man's feelings. How do you expect us to love you if you don't love yourself? And I'll end with that.
Amen. Amen, sister. And
Thank
nobody knows the plight of a Black man better than a Black woman.
Yeah. Thank you, Sister Cannon Ann. I appreciate you for coming up. I appreciate you for tapping in and giving us so much good information, man. I mean, wow. I mean, I couldn't even planned it better, right?
I
Shout out
love
to
it
you.
when we have experts on here in the field that can drop some real nuggets about what's going on in the Black
Okay,
community when it
Sister
comes to
Cannon
the
Ann.
health.
I'm sorry, Patrice. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, that's all I want to say.
All right.
I just want to say that before I get my closing.
Okay, Sister Cannon Ann, where can people find you if they want to get more information or, hook up with you and, maybe you have some type of community thing that you do, like, hey, all of us are going to wake up at this time, we're going to tap in together or whatever. I don't know, maybe you have something like that. Where
I
can
don't have
people
anything
find you?
like that. I've been thinking about it, Brother Clarence. Thank you for putting it on my mind. I do not currently have anything like that, because I've been very frustrated with it's been like, no one really wants to talk about, like, if I came on here talking about 304s and
Yeah,
being
And
submissive
gender wars.
yeah,
and the body count and all this kind of stuff,
yeah,
we would have a lot of people that have very
yeah,
passionate things to say, right?
yeah,
But when you
yeah.
talk about, oh, I'm jumping rope, right, ain't
Right.
nobody care about that. So I'm working on it. You can always, I've been on YouTube for a while. I've been on YouTube for years, so you can always find me uh, Candid Ann on YouTube. I'm Candid Ann on Instagram. You can find me there. As it pertains to I don't talk about healthcare things a lot because I'm still working as a nurse and I don't want to give out any wrong
Correct.
information.
We got
And
you, sis.
sometimes me being the personality, the candid person that I am, I want to tell you things that I probably shouldn't. I want to tell
Correct.
people honest things
Right.
probably isn't too popular that I see that's going on, right? But so I try to be
Right.
careful and I try to stay away from those things. But if people have, I mean, my email address is on my page. If people have like a question that I can gently answer, I mean, I'm going to tell you, talk to your doctor.
Yeah.
As the lead attorney says, I'm a nurse, but I'm not your nurse. It's not
Right.
your doctor.
Right.
Talk to your doctor, tap
Right.
into your doctor. But if you have like generic questions that I can answer, I'll be happy. People can always hit me up on my email address, which is out there, or hit me up on Instagram or whatever. I'm out there, so I'm easy to
Candid,
find.
is your channel now? Because I haven't been on there in a while. I think last time I was on there, I
I
was on
barely
there.
make
Me, you,
videos.
and Dojo. Oh, okay. Because I was gonna ask, are you doing anything about like eating healthier and exercise? Are you promoting that more on your channel now?
Maybe I should. I don't know. Like I said, we'll talk about that offline, perhaps.
Okay.
Sometimes I want to, right? But I'm gonna be very honest, right? There's money in YouTube, and ain't nobody trying to watch no damn videos about eating right and exercising, right? And I want to get paid. I
Okay.
do. I have my
Everybody
own
want to get paid
agenda.
off YouTube, boy. They want them
Right? I
coins,
wanna
boy.
I eventually within the next 5 to 10 years, I'd like to retire from being a nurse and come out here and give you
Mm,
the behind the scenes real deal, tell them how your
real
home
deal,
feel as
raw.
a
Yeah.
nurse, so where I'm not beholden to my employer anymore. And I can come out here and really tell you
Right.
what I want.
Right.
But in order to do that, I gotta have some kind of income.
Right.
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 I
So
get it.
it's a fight. I don't know what the answer is right now. I'm like I said, when I see a topic where the panelists, like Brother Clarence, I opened up and I was like, oh, I can tap into this, right? I will come up. But at this point, I'm not even coming up on panels where people are inviting me to talk about something. I'm not even interested anymore because of all the nastiness and
Yeah.
exposing this. I'm not interested in having these conversations that much anymore. But if it's something I feel like I can contribute positivity to, I'll pop up unannounced. As long as
Right.
someone
Right.
allows me to come up, I'll pop in. But I no longer have much of an interest on, uh,
Mm-hmm. The
being
gender
part of this
wars.
thing anymore because it's getting
The
too
beef.
nasty.
Yeah. I can appreciate that. I think that it will be a good idea to have, and it's good to have people that look like us to get on, and talk about specific professions they've been in, like, because like you said, the health is a big thing, and I think the finance is a big thing too when
Yeah.
it come on. So maybe inviting somebody that's special, has a specialty in that tells us, hey, how to start your trust, how to start a will, how to what people don't even realize that life insurance can be a source of income, right? Because life insurance is not for the dead, it's for the living, it's for the people you leaving behind to be okay, pay some bills for you and still say, hey, here's you got something, a little something left over to do something with. Like we don't even realize a lot of things when back in our community. So I think it's good to have people in those professions to
Yeah, and I would
come
say,
on to and have the conversation.
yeah, and if you really want the truth, try to find someone that's retired. that has nothing to lose anymore, they're gonna really
Yeah.
tell you. You know,
Yeah, they
I
can
can
talk
talk
to
a
you.
lot
Yeah.
about a lot of things, but if you really want to get deep and you really want talk, if you can find someone, I don't know who that would be on here, someone that's been a nurse for 20, 15, however many years, and they're retired,
Hmm.
you're about to find out,
Hmm.
you know, you're about to find out
Right.
the real, you know, they can really, really get in there deep with you,
Yeah.
deeper than I'm
Won't hurt
able
their
to.
pockets. You're right. They won't get
Exactly.
fired and stuff like that. So yeah, you're right.
Exactly. So yeah.
Absolutely.
So
But
that's the
thank you,
answer to that
Candace.
question. But
I
I'll give you
got
some
I
time to
got a
find.
lot. Yeah, I got a
Yeah.
lot from this and learned a lot about things I knew already, but I like to ask questions. Like I'm that person. I like to ask questions about anything because like we got parents or whoever, right? And especially if one day you probably gonna be taking care of a ailment parent or ailments a spouse that has ailments and dealing with issues. It's so important to learn and ask questions about different things. Black people, we have to have the conversations, and it starts in our homes first, and then it branches out. And I know these are uncomfortable conversations, but we need to have them because, like she said, our black men and now black women, we are dying at alarming rates, very young of age of these things. So I appreciate the conversation.
All right, Canada. Juan Bryan put your channel out there. So people, if you want to catch up to Canada, you can go to her channel. It's out there in the chat. Smart sister came on, man, and told us, what she can. Obviously, she can't go into everything. She's still in the field. So, but she did say we need to hook up with some retirees so we can get the total real deal. But she still got a lot of good information. Don't trip. She still got a lot of information. Canada sister, thank you for coming up. I'm gonna pull you down, and we appreciate your input today, man. You made the show. Appreciate you, sis.
Much love. Thank you for having me. Take care, you guys.
See you,
All right.
Candyman.
Take care, Miss OG.
Oh
Wow.
man.
Yeah, I like good educational stuff. I like talking and learning and just having a really honest dialogue about things because she see it from that side. She got it from our side, and she knows, she know that it's a fight, to get you men
Yeah.
to
Well,
go and get your health in order, and she has a husband, she
yeah,
also
and
see it,
so I,
just
I,
from
I,
other men.
one of the things that you guys will see me sometimes. I just have a show. I won't be saying that much, is because the guests, you guys on the panel, are doing such a good job. You don't even need me in here. I can just fade in and out, and you guys really don't need me in here. And she's one of those kind of guests that I
And
really didn't
yeah,
need it.
for
She
sure,
really was just the
wealth of
show
wealth
herself.
of wealth
Yeah,
of
yeah, she was
information,
pretty much the
wealth of
show.
knowledge,
So I
wealth of
thank her for that,
education
for
on
sure,
it. Thank
for
you so
sure.
much, Candace.
If you
And
haven't
also,
already,
listen,
what?
bro, Clarence, we got to give a shout out to Mr. Harris. He was the
Man, I'm gonna
only
get there,
man
but too.
brave enough. No, I want to give it to him as a
Uh,
black woman for coming up here and
uh,
having the nerve to come up here and have the conversation as a black man. So
yeah,
I want to say shout out to him and thank you because listen, we already know he was the only one that came up here to have a conversation.
of
So
course,
like
of course. I told you, black
salute to
men,
him.
the
Salute to him.
black man will do
Brave. He's a brave
anything, man.
soldier.
Black man will run through brick walls, do everything except go to the doctor. It's like Dracula in the daytime. They run from the sunlight, right? So that's black men. They run from the doctor, man. They would not go to the doctor. I don't care if it's an MMA wrestler. They just would not go to the doctor. And so we got to get over that. We got to get over that cultural uh, thing that we have that makes us think that some kind of way you weak if you go to the doctor, or you weak if you apologize, or
But
you
bro,
weak if you.
Clarence,
Yes,
can I ask you,
yes,
from black woman to black man, and
yes.
and and we didn't touch on this, and I wish we had while all of us was on the panel. And just give me your honest opinion because a I've got an opinion and a view on it too, and I
Okay,
think this is a big part of it too.
okay.
And I think we got to be honest to say a real big part of it to me, because I even remember when I was married, right? And even when I've had to have a conversation with the guy I'm dating now. And I know it's tough conversations, y'all. But can we be honest and say that there is a certain part of fear that's there as well when it comes
Oh
to
yeah.
men? Can we be honest about that?
Yes. Absolutely. That's what I've
Thank
been
you.
saying.
Okay,
That's what I've
thank
been
you.
saying. Yeah,
Yeah,
they're
I
scared.
think fear, yeah.
Yeah. That's why they ain't going. It's not because they, no, they're scared.
A
Because
fear
this
of
is
what
what
they
I'm gonna
think
tell you
they're
what
gonna
men
be
fear.
told, or
This
what
is
they're
what
gonna
men
be
fear.
told.
Exactly. They are
Yeah,
scared of this situation. They go in there and instead of the doctor saying, "Well, everything looks okay, go ahead," they scared that the doctor's gonna
that
say, "You know
something's gonna
what?
tell them something.
Before you leave, let me talk to you real quick. Why don't you let's close the door." They're scared of that situation because they don't know what's gonna happen, right? Or they're scared of they say, "Hey, we need to do a one of those they want to we want to check your prostate." That is
Oh
not a
yeah,
fun.
that
That is not
uncomfortable
a fun
exam.
procedure.
That uncomfortable exam,
That is
right?
not a fun procedure at all. And so I'm not even talking about the way they just check it with their hands. I'm talking about when they actually have
Have to
to.
put the thing up there. Yeah.
Oh man,
Oh, I know.
yeah,
Yeah.
imagine, right? And so that
Yeah.
is not a fun procedure, right? Do I have to do a biopsy like that, right? So my point is that that's what most of us are scared of. But
Yeah.
instead of addressing that with
Just
okay,
like for the rectum one, the same thing for the rectum one, because the finger
exactly,
got to go up there. It is
yeah,
what it
but
is. Yeah.
it's with it. But I think the average man would take 100 fingers up the rectum before they would take one uh one of those
Q-tip,
biopsies.
Q-tip
Yeah,
thing.
man. Holy smokes. So but that's what they're afraid of, Patrice. That is
Oh yeah,
and
I know fear is like probably the number
yeah.
one,
Yeah,
because
and then the second thing is they just don't want to look weak around people because once people see that you're weak, then they're gonna start treating you differently. That's in our minds. That's how we think. We think if my wife sees me weaker, then she's gonna not treat
yeah,
me like the king I feel like I am. My children, my family, my circle, they're not gonna treat me like this. They're
right.
gonna start trying to run over me. So that's the fear. That's another fear they got
The fear,
with that situation, right?
of
So
feeling
how
like you the weaker vessel. Yeah,
yeah, so how do we my wife might not respect me the same, or my woman might not respect me the same. So the question is, how do we get around that? How do we get around that cultural dynamic that is particularly, I think it's general in men generally, but especially as black men, I think we are just, all we got is our prowess. All we have is our prowess. You know what I mean? So we want to hold on to that as long as we can. And once we see that leaving, we say, "Damn, we're done. The society really don't need us no more." You know what I mean? So it's
right,
a
right.
bunch of different things going on in that
Yeah,
situation.
I know that with black men, fear is a major part of it. I watched it in my father. I watched it for a while in my
Yeah,
husband. I watched it in my brothers, my son. And it's like, what are you afraid of? But I do know it's the fear of the unknown, the fear of what they think they might be told, especially if they
yeah,
know, because black men will hide the fact that they've
yeah.
been having an issue with something for a while until they
Oh yeah.
didn't walk no more from it or whatever, until
Right,
they literally are
right,
passing out or half passed out or
right.
and it's like, and then they'll say, well, I've been having this pain, for 3 months. You'd be like, and you didn't say anything. No, I mean, I just thought, it'll go away. We hear all of that, and then when it, like you said, it's damn near too late, or it's too late, and then now, oh, you got to be on this special kind of medication, and you got to take this medication. Imagine being told you have to take a medication for the rest of your life, and that's just it.
Yeah,
When it comes to
yeah,
diabetes and high
yeah,
blood pressure, you have
yeah,
to take, most of the time, you have to take this medication
yeah,
and make it a
yeah,
part of your everyday life until you leave. And most of the time, if we being real, we end up we end up dying from complications of these ailments. It's just
yeah,
facts. And
yeah.
and
Or
though
from just not taking the medicine. Yeah, yeah,
right, and still or taking them. How about this one? How about this one that we need to talk about? How about the fact that you're taking the medication, but you're still doing everything else
Yeah,
that your
that's
doctor
another thing
told you
for
not
sure.
to do?
That's
Like
another
you're
thing,
not
right?
exercising, you're not changing your diet, you're not
Yeah,
stopping drinking the alcohol or drinking
yeah,
it in moderate. We'll take we still will take the medicine.
right.
Let's have that conversation, but we'll still do everything else wrong. And we think when your doctor say, look, you need to change your diet, you need to,
Yeah,
exercise a couple of days a week, you need
right,
to lay off the alcohol and drink it, maybe have a glass of wine or a shot once a week or something.
right,
Like, but we'll take the medicine, but we'll do everything else.
right,
We won't do everything else that the doctor told us to do.
right. It's a sad situation. Well, and you know, unfortunately for us, you know, we got to excuse me, figure out a way where we can get that mindset away from black men and get them back into the mindset of, hey, ain't nothing wrong with you for getting checked off. And if something happens, you know, we'll be here for you. You have some support. Now that's the thing that most black men don't feel like they
Yes.
don't have any support.
Yeah,
So that's
especially
another
in
thing.
mental health as well. That's a whole nother
Oh, that's a
conversation.
whole nother
Oh my
conversation. We got to have that
God.
conversation too, because
Yeah.
yeah, that's a really bad one too. That's a really bad one because we
Because there's
most
no way in the world, I don't think that most police officers, and I'm gonna specifically talk about, black people because that's kind of what I do. Uh, uh, when it comes to our health issues and things like that, I don't think it's no person have been a black police officer have not experienced some type of mental health issue. I
oh
can't even
sure,
imagine the things that they have witnessed and saw and had to walk up into, come across, and there is not something.
yeah,
So when it comes to certain type of jobs that you have where you exposed to certain things,
yeah,
those are conversations that need to be had.
yeah.
Because just in Chicago in the last, I think, month, 3 police officers have committed self-deletion.
Oh my
So
God.
there is and they all were brothers.
Oh
So
man.
there is a problem, when it comes to that issue. And I think that probably need to be probably another topic, but I
Yeah,
just want to definitely shed light on. I think that men hide in fear of a lot of ailments, not just that health
absolutely,
issue, but the mental health part of it too,
absolutely.
as well.
And the reason why men with married men live longer because the wife is going to push you to go to the doctor. They're going to push
Hmm.
you to go. They're going to make you go to the doctor. When they see you sluggish, they're gonna send you to the doctor, and then you're gonna go, and then you're gonna find out what's actually going on, and then you'll be able to deal with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
But
yeah.
Patrice, you got some closing remarks because I'm going to shut the show down.
Yeah, no, man, this was absolute. See, this is absolutely one of the most excellent shows you've had. It's funny that, like you said, the lowest views, the lowest panel
Right?
response, or whatever. But like, I love it. I'm glad you had it, and I hope you do have another one, on the
Yeah, I got to
mental health
invite her
thing.
back and
And,
bring her back.
I also have one on the financial and the insurance part. I think these are, and it doesn't matter because I think that the ones that want to tune in and to get it and that's listening and really applying it to their life, I think that they'll do that. I know I have applied it to my life. It's so funny because the last time when I went home to Chicago, me and my brothers and sisters had a family meeting with my mom, and she laid everything on the line. Like Candace Ann said, she had everything wrote out with how she want things to be when she leave this earth, who she wanted to have power of attorney, who was on the life insurance. We were signing papers, switching papers, doing it's a conversation that has to be had. And I know because nobody wants to think that they parents gonna leave here one day, that you
Yeah,
gonna leave here one day, but it is a fact. We all gonna leave here one day. So it is just important, especially for black people, because I'm so tired of us not having life insurance, and we are having GoFundMe to raise money to bury our loved ones
man,
when it don't
man.
necessarily have to be that way. Sometimes if you can get, even if you are a low impoverished or low income, get the minimum at least to bury your loved one or to have them cremated, whatever they wishes are. Cremation is actually cheaper than a whole funeral and burial ceremony. Like a lot of people don't even know that. So, you know, these conversations are good to have when it comes to our community because, like you said, we always the last one to get ready. But if we stay ready, we don't have to get ready. And I'll digress.
All right, we need to talk to this
For a minute, yeah. And oh, and I want to thank you too for putting up the video on Brother Jerome
Oh yeah,
Davison. Thank you so much. I am praying for that brother to have a speedy recovery and to heal, and so he can get back out on his campaign, and I can
yeah,
continue to support him. And I may not be a Christian or into organized religion anymore, but I do pray. I pray for people that I care about, my loved ones. So when they asked me to come to the prayer vigil, of course I went and I prayed for that brother, right?
right,
Because that's just
right,
the right thing to do if you're going to support someone. And
right,
you don't have to roll with everything they believe or whatever,
right.
this or that. But I definitely said a prayer for that brother. So thank you so much, Bro Clarence, for showing that video. We wish him a healing and a speedy recovery so he can get back out there on the campaign trail.
All right, thank you, Patrice. I appreciate you, man. Of course, we're gonna play it, man. Any brother that we wish that Risa Neal has a family member that she said that was recovering from some issues. So we gonna pray for everybody. If we know about it, we're gonna pray about it,
Absolutely.
right?
Absolutely.
We even gonna pray for people that told us they don't pray for me. We praying for you anyway. That's how we gonna do you.
No, I'm sorry. That's you, Bro Clarence. That ain't me. That's you. I ain't praying for everybody, and I don't want everybody to pray for me. If you my enemy, I don't want you praying for me because you might be praying for my demise.
I
So
got
nope,
you.
no
I
thank you.
got you. I got you. All right, I'm gonna pull you down, sis. That girl crazy. We praying for her. If anything happened to her, we praying for her. I'm gonna be the first one praying for her. So we don't listen to Patrice. We gonna pray for her. But unless you're her enemy. If you're her enemy, don't pray for her. But the rest of us, don't listen to Patrice. We gonna pray for her. All right. So what y'all think about the show? What y'all think? I mean, you know, did y'all think we try to answer some questions and kind of go over some things and make it plain? Shout out to Summer, by the way. I saw you slipped in here, man. Did we go over some stuff? Did we try to answer some questions about some of these things, man? Or at least just get the conversation started. I think that black men, we especially, man, for some reason, we let our health get so bad before we go to the doctor, man. We just don't do it, and that's just crazy. I ain't even gonna read y'all what Patrice is sending me back. Stop it, Patrice. All right, so it's so bad, man. It's so bad. See, we just will not go to the doctor, especially, man. I'm telling you, if you hit your 40s and you blessed enough to never been to the doctor like me, I never went to the doctor, man. I mean, I never took no medicine, nothing. But of course, when I got maybe my 48 or 49, that's when it hit me. Bam! They sat me down and said, "This is your new normal. These pills, this stuff, this is your new normal now. If you want to be here." And I had a granddaughter, I had a baby granddaughter. I mean, I couldn't leave. I couldn't leave without seeing my granddaughter be able to, talk to me. And hopefully I can see her get married. Hopefully I can see her graduate high school. You know what I mean? I got to be there for those days, man. I was there for her first day of preschool. I mean, I was there. Those are days you don't get those days back. You don't get those days back, man. So you know what I'm saying? You can do all what you do out here. I'm Mr. Big Willie, but you don't get your children's first day of school back. You don't get that graduating. I just graduated my son from college. You don't get those days back, man. You don't get those days back. You know what I'm saying? So we got to look at our health. Our health is part of our wealth. Your wealth, your wealth is cut into different things. One of the things of your health is, well, your wealth is your health. your health, of course, obviously, and then your financial stability, obviously, right? I mean, it's different things to good having wealth, and one of those things is your health, man. And we passing down generational bad health, and people say, "Oh, it's hereditary." No, if your mama cook ham hocks and you eat ham hocks, and you teach your children to eat ham hocks, it's probably gonna have passed down bad eating habits, which in turn is gonna pass down bad health, right? We got to think about the things we eat. You know what I mean? We got to think. There you go, Jill. Your health is your wealth. You know what I mean? So you got to think about that. You got to think about that. But Negro said, but Clarence, I would love to talk about recipes and alternatives to our diets. Yeah, man, me too. I'm plant based, but I've learned how to make it delicious. That's good, man. Maybe New Growth, we can do a show where you can come on here and try to tell those of us, because I go plant based on certain days, but because of my health situation, I have to have some protein, and I don't know how to get it from the plant. But if you can show me how to do that better, let's just have a little show, man. We don't even have to make it a long thing. We can make it like an hour and a half, where you can come in and talk to us about that stuff, New Growth. Think about it, man, because we need somebody who, like, I need somebody who I trust. I said, I trust y'all in the chat. All my people, I trust. You know what I'm saying? Because if you got the nerve to come here and be with us, then I trust you. And you've been in here and all that, you know what I'm saying? So we trust our people over here. So I'd rather hear from you, New Growth, than have to go and find somebody outside of the clique to let them know. And well, I would say clique, but about outside of our circle, because we ain't got no clique, man. Anybody's welcome here as long as they, being respectful. So I would say it's a clique where you locked out, but definitely from our circle here, right? But yeah, man, the New Growth. Let's talk about that. Maybe I have to reach out and touch you, man, and see if we could work something out like that out. Yeah, man. So yeah, we want to talk about black men and their health, man. Black men and their health, and their health is directly tied to their health is directly tied to what they put in their mouth. And so the things we eating and drinking and smoking and a whole bunch of stuff like that, once we doing stuff like that, we are cutting down our health, right? We're chipping off our health by the stuff we eat. And there's nobody, thank you, Negro. There's nobody, well, let's say nobody, but there's hardly anybody has a financial interest in us being healthy, right? Not a lot of people have a financial interest in your health. They have a financial interest in your dis-ease, right? What is dis-ease? You're not at ease. Your body is at ease. And when your body is healthy, it's at ease. It's not struggling to deal with all kinds of different issues, right? That's because it's at ease, right? But dis-ease is when your body is struggling to deal with some type of issue or issues in the body. Man, I feel the same way, Risa. I think we found each other. We found each other, man. We found each other. The path was laid out for us to find each other. So shout out to all of us. Yeah, we found each other. And hopefully we can help each other grow to be better people. Yeah, man. So black men. So a black man. You are a black man, and some. Just tell a brother, have you been to the doctor? You need to go. Just go to the doctor, get a checkup. Especially if they're over the age of 30. Just go get a checkup, man. You know what I'm saying? Just to find out, because sometimes you can find out your cholesterol is high, and you need to stop eating. I used to eat a lot of fried food, right? But I was in such good shape. I didn't have blood pressure issues or nothing like that. So I just kept on doing it until one day I did a test at the doctor, and my cholesterol was like almost 200. I was like, what? Nah. So I had to, of course, pull back on the fried foods, and then eventually most of that stuff went out the window. Very rarely will I eat something fried. I mean, like deep fried. Very rarely. But yeah, man, and most of that stuff. But I used to eat like that every day. right? Every day, just eat, because I was running and running and running and running and running. So I know how you can get where you can just be. You got your life filled up with so many different activities to, you're not stopping to eat. And I'm a table person. I want the table set. I want I like that. That's the way I like to eat. But I was doing so much. We had the children, and we had them in martial arts. We had them in, activity sports. I had another one of my sons was in, a young male rites of passage program. I mean, we had, and I of course was a soldier in the nation. So we had so many different things going on, right? So sometimes you be running and running and running. Shout out to Marcus Garvey. You be running and running and running, and you don't have time to sit down and stop, and everybody at the table sit down and eat a meal. But we got to build our lives around that. We got to bring ourselves around and back around to sitting down at the table, because what sitting down at the table does is slows everybody down. You have better digestion when you're eating at the table, and everybody can see what everybody else is doing, and you can get the vibe off of everybody. But see, we don't know. Now you can have a child living with you 18 years, you don't even know this child, right? You don't even know what's going on with this child. Why? Because we're not sitting down at the table eating with each other. Only time you get called in front of this child is when there's a discipline issue, right? So we got to get back away from that. We got to be willing to see our children on a daily basis. Sit down. Everybody sit down. Well, I'm hungry. I got to go. Oh, okay, you can go ahead and go. That was I ain't. One thing my sons can never say about me, I was never hated. Oh, you got to go? Oh, okay, go ahead. But I want to get something to eat. Oh, no. See, the only way you get something to eat is you sit down. That's the only way you're going to get something to eat. If you want to eat, sit down. If you ain't got time, I understand you a big time entrepreneur, whatever. Go ahead on. But you're not getting none of this food unless you sit your butt down. And so I'm big on that. I'm big on, let's sit down and eat. Let's fellowship together. That's your real fellowship. I know church is a fellowship, but your real fellowship is with your family. You figure a way out to fellowship with your family if you can. Oh, my son is doing this, and my daughter's doing this. But got a fellowship with them. Okay, so maybe you can't sit down at the dinner table with them. You fellowship with them in the car on the way to karate. Yeah, how's school going? How's things going at school? You got any new friends? You just fellowship with them. You talk to them. We got to start communicating with each other, man. We don't see each other as a support system. Unfortunately, this generation doesn't even see us parents as reputable sources of information, because we didn't grow up on Google, right? They see Google is, why ask your parents anything when you can just Google it? They don't realize, man, we got a lot of information. We got a lot of information, and we can tell them something, but they don't. And so how do we gonna get there? We got a fellowship. I was telling y'all yesterday, man, sometimes you ain't gonna just get to know your brother, your sister. You ain't gonna get to know them. You're gonna have to spend some time with them. You have to spend some time with them. So but your first obligation is to spend time with your family. Your mama, it's things about your mama you don't even know. Things about your father you don't even know. But if you spend time with them, man, you could get some information, some good game off of them. I ain't got time to spend with them, man. You're too slow. They're too slow. Okay. But we passing out generational bad habits and generational bad health. The whole point of private property in capitalist society is to be able to create generational wealth and pass it down to your heirs. That's the whole point. If we don't need to if we don't need to have generational wealth and try to attain generational wealth and try to pass it down to our heirs, what's the point? We could just do communism. If we all working for the state, we can just work for the state, right? Come on, y'all. We got to get it together. But this was a great show about health and black men, and getting them more involved in their own health. And I know there's a lot of men that just don't have the health coverage, but there's a lot of the men that do, that just don't go. We specifically, in my opinion, we were talking about mainly guys that do have the health care that just don't go. I had it for years. Never went to the doctor. Never. Why? Because I knew I could jump over a building. I was great shape. I think back about how I was at that point, man. Oh, holy smokes! I was just a dynamo, right? I had one of them Allen Iverson engines where you could just go and go and go and go and go, right? Not so much. Got a little rust on the engine now. But if I hadn't been loving to my wife and loving to the people that's around me to help me in those times, would they be here? Would they be here? Brother Daryl, love your daughter, man. Love your daughter. Teach your daughter how to love you. We teach people how to love us. Teach your daughter how to love you, brother. So if something happens to you, brother, she'll be the first one stepping in the line of fire to say, hey, no, this is my daddy. This is how we going to do this. My daddy's not going in no nursing home. My daddy's going to stay here with me. The husband's going to act up. Why does he get to stay? No. Okay, if he can't stay, then I can't stay. Okay, right? You want to have somebody fighting for you, right? Fighting for you. And want people to just be like, no, well, Papa is no good. Like my children, they know, hey, my trust, hey, if I go into a nursing home, nobody don't get nothing. Nobody don't get nothing. If I ever end up in a nursing home, nobody gets nothing. You got to structure stuff like that. But mine, I got good kids. Yeah, you got good kids until the spoils are left on the table. You might see how you might see especially a death plus spoils on the table. Sometimes, man, it can twist people, man. That really, they usually are on point, but that might twist them up. Risa said, Mike, my dad was here with us. My responsibility is no one else. I let my mom hang out as well. Hey, I mean, you know me. That's what we got to do. We got to start as black people. We got to get. Well, I wish everybody, but black people, we have an epidemic of just throwing our people in the nursing. We never did stuff like that. We just throw them in a nursing home, right? And then we just leave them there. We won't check on them. We might call every 6 months or something, right? Our people don't want to live their last days in no nursing home, man. Come on, man. Who the hell wants to live their last days in a nursing home? That's why we got to encourage them to get their health right. We got to encourage them to get the paperwork together. Mom, where's the paperwork? For what? For the life insurance, for the bank accounts, for all this stuff, right? You got to have those conversations. The trust. If you have real property, you need a trust. Why give the government 45% of your real property when you pass away? Why not give 100% of it to the people, the trustee, to the beneficiaries? Right? Come on, let's stop playing. All right. I'm sorry, Patrice. I forgot you were down there. I wasn't even looking at it, but I got Patrice waiting in the wings, so I got to wrap this up. Okay, let's do the rundown, y'all. Thank you, Brother Daryl. Appreciate you, man. Black people won't sacrifice their comfort for community. They won't do it until they push to do it, because Brother Daryl, I'm telling you, once you walk into that doctor's office and they tell you this your new normal, you ain't got no choice. Our community ain't built that way, but unfortunately, we find out too late that we need to be that way. We need to be that way, because unfortunately, they wheel you into that nursing home. You done. They can take advantage of you. I mean, they used to steal my grandmother's. My grandmother had 2 strokes. Unfortunately, very smart lady, had 2 strokes. I mean, she was basically, she couldn't even talk. She was like a little kid. She couldn't even talk. Only thing she could do was point to stuff, right? So only thing she ever wanted was Cheetos. That was her big thing. She had, listen to me, a lady that had did so much and was so smart had got reduced down to her only fun in life was a bag of Cheetos. And the people there would steal that stuff from her. They would just walk in the room because she couldn't move. They would just walk in the room and just take it off her counter and just walk. We talking about before cameras was on in every hallway. We talking about the late 80s, right? Bad situation, man. We need to fix it. We need to fix it. Big time drum. What's up, Big Mike? He says, I let the better back life. Sometimes in life we don't always pan out the way we think it should in a perfect or logical sense. Yeah, I know, but we got to push it that way, brother Big Mike, because you know what? If you don't, I'm telling you, man, if you don't outline what you want, the strongest among your children are going to take and start taking over and doing whatever they want to do. And sometimes they'll do it even with everything written out. They'll just do what they want to do if they know nobody's going to challenge them. And you don't want nobody in a position where they got to be challenged or anything has to be nothing. That's my little soapbox thing today. I got to go, y'all, because I got Patrice waiting. And I don't know if she got something to do. So I gotta close this thing out. Okay, let's do the rundown, y'all. And by the way, shout out to Big Mike for stopping through. All right, so let's do the rundown, y'all. First of all, the MVP, the most valuable people, is the chat. The chat is where it's at. The chat came in strong performance. You guys always got a strong performance, very solid. Asked the nurse nice questions. Asked the sister candidate very poignant questions, man. I mean, you know, shout out to the chat. The chat is where it's at. I know we don't have a lot of people in here, but we got enough people in here that maybe somebody will learn somebody. Maybe this sister might have saved somebody's life today, right? Who knows? Maybe she did. Maybe she cracked one of us hard-headed black men. And thank you, Jill. The chat is undefeated. The chat is undefeated. The chat is undefeated over here, man. Big Mike says some parents will make a better decision, harder to be done because they are set in their ways. Yeah, that's unfortunate, brother. That is really unfortunate. But only thing we doing is making things rougher on our children, right? If we don't lay things out the way they should be, our children have to suffer. And the ones of them that don't want to challenge the stronger ones, they're gonna get eaten. You know what I'm saying? You ever notice sharks when sharks are fertilized, they have a litter in there. They have like about maybe 5 or 6 sharks in the belly of the mother shark. But what happens when it's time to be born? You only got one. What happened to the other sharks? The baby shark, the stronger shark ate the other sharks, right? The stronger shark ate the other sharks. That's how come you only got one shark coming out, maybe at maximum 2. But you ain't gonna get no whole litter like 5 or 6 of them. No, because the stronger ones eat the weaker ones. Just the way it go, bro. And same thing with children. When you got a wealth to leave them, and when I say a wealth, even just a house or some cars, some vehicles, or whatever little bank money you got in the bank, you know, saying the stronger ones, if you don't lay it out with a trust and a will and a trust of how you want things to go, the stronger ones will eat the weaker ones. Brother Marcus said, I came in late, gonna go back and listen to what I missed. Peace to you, brother Clint. Peace to you, brother Marcus. Thank you for stopping by. Appreciate you. Yeah, Candyman dropped a lot of gems, man. You really need to go check it out, man. You need to go check that out. Okay, chat MVP, man. Chat is undefeated. Chat is where it's at. Strong performance. Keeping y'all. I appreciate y'all keeping the riff raff out. Strong performance. Let me move on down to the panel. On the panel, we had Sister Candy Ann. What do y'all think about Sister Candy Ann? Sister Candy Ann came in, man, dropped some bombs, right? She dropped some atom bombs, right? She was, we disagreed with each other from the beginning, but I see her position and she see my position, and we just misunderstood each other. You know, she thought I was saying, hey, just go and get some honey, and that'll take care of your diabetes. No, I was not saying don't take your medicine. I'm just saying if you can find other medicines and that's doing the same, natural medicines that's doing the same thing, that's giving you the same result, then maybe you might want to switch over so you don't have a cascading effect. But she got it. She got it after a while. She knew what I was talking about. So we was all on the same page after that. We was all good. It was all good. But just to drop so much bombs, man. Very intelligent sister. Very intelligent sister, man. Keeps it real, man. You know what I'm saying? She got that island accent too. That's funny too, man. She, man. So shout out to Sister Candy Ann, man. Appreciate that. This is our maiden voyage. What y'all think? Solid, very solid performance from Sister Candy Ann. Very solid performance. She can't go too deep, right? Because she's still in the business, right? You understand, right? Just like lead attorney, man. He could only go so far, right? Because he was still in the business, right? He can only give you some of the game. Plus, he had to put it in a way, and then he got to make an income for himself. So he got to package the game in a way where you can get it from him, but you got to pay him for it. I get it. It's all good. I have no problem with that, me personally. Shout out to him. Shout out to Sister Candy Ann. Appreciate her. Solid performance. She did an excellent job. She really made the show today. So I thank her for that. She's on point. But like they say in the streets out here, on my mama. All right. So anyway, what about OG Patrice? OG Patrice came up here. What do you think about OG Patrice? OG Patrice came in the house, and like I said, like she always does, she always has great information. She's one of those type of people that, pretty much any subject you talk of, she can intelligently talk to you about it, right? So she came up here and started talking about, black men, black men don't usually, okay, Patrice, I got it. Black men don't usually go to the doctor, and she, as being a black woman, has probably experienced being around men that just won't go to the doctor. Ain't nothing wrong with me. I'm cool. And you losing vision in your left eye, but I'm cool. Ain't nothing happening with me. I'm cool. That eye got to fall all the way out before you say, you know what? Maybe I need to go to the doctor. That's how we are as black men. But shout out to OG Patrice. OG Patrice, she actually made the show again too, because really she asked a lot of the questions that I was gonna ask. I didn't really have to eat. She made me able to eat my apple. Because I was able to eat my apple a little bit, man, because she was asking all the questions. Maybe I might, Big Mike. Maybe I might. Hold on. You got to hold on to the end, man. Hold on to the end. But Patrice came through, man. Shout out to OG Patrice, man. She always asks good questions, man. And she knew Candy Ann. I didn't know Candy Ann. I seen her out in the YouTube streets, but I never had the pleasure of meeting her. Shout out to her. And but Patrice, like I said, likewise, and just like Candy Ann came in and made the show very, very palatable. I mean, it's a tough subject to talk about. Black men's health. Nobody really wants to talk about that. You start talking about black men's health, black men will just run like roaches, when the light turns on, right? In a bad apartment building, right? Flip, bam! You see them running all over the place. Okay, so that's how black men are when you start talking about black men's health. Health! Oh no! Dracula, right? Pew! They out of there. But shout out to OG Patrice. Solid performance as always. It's always a solid performance. Strong, very, very strong. All right, so let's move on, y'all. What about Mr. He Said? He came in. You know what I mean? I think this is about the third or fourth time for him. came in. He always drops bombs anyway. He always drops bombs. You know, sometimes he sits in the bushes, but sometimes he comes through, right? Have you ever seen his show? If you haven't already gone over to the Harris Tribe, I think it's called the Harris Tribe. I should have asked him out. Damn it, I forgot to ask him what his website is, but I think it's called the Harris Tribe. What Mr. He said and Mr. She said. I'm telling you, man, it don't get no more family than them, man. And they showing you, hey, you know, you can do stuff with your wife. You know, you can do, you know, saying if your wife has the mind to do it with you, you can do stuff with your wife, right? Right? Shout out to Mr. He said, drop some gems, man. Drop some gems. You know what I mean? But yeah, man, him and his wife, they got a great little program. If you haven't subscribed to the Harris Family Tribe, go on over there and I think it's called the Harris Family Tribe. Go on over there and subscribe to it, man. You know, support the young brother, support the young sister, support them. Let's support them. I subscribe to them. Support them, man. You know what I'm saying? They out here and they putting out good content. And I know good content is not popular these days, but to see a black family where everybody, you know, you don't see them hollering and screaming at each other, right? You can tell they love each other. At the same time, you can tell they got a lot of respect for each other, right? And so, but y'all, if y'all haven't had a chance to already go over there and subscribe to that channel, go on over there and subscribe to the channel, please, and to support the brother. But he did an excellent job. He came up and he's another set shooter. You know what I mean? If he's pretty much only going to jump in there when he hears something that he thinks he can add value to. That's the type of brother he is, in my opinion. He's the type that, you know, hey, if y'all cooking, go ahead and cook. Y'all don't need me to add this pepper in here. Y'all got it already. Y'all got it smelling good already, right? But, you know, if he got a chance to be, you know, to shoot a shot, he gonna shoot it, man. And he did swish all the way. Shout out to Mr. He said, man, you know, good brother, man, good brother, good solid brother, man, solid brother. Solid performance from Mr. He said, solid, very, very strong performance, very, very strong performance. Okay, y'all, everybody did a great job today. Candidan, great job. Patrice, great job. Mr. He said, Mr. Harris, great job, absolutely outstanding. The chat, everybody did a great job. And Big Mike, you want the Rico dance? Here was the Rico dance, the Rico dance, the Rico dance, the Rico dance. Big Mike, I gave you the Rico dance, man. Rico ain't here. I don't know what happened to Rico, man. I sent him the link. I called him. You know what I'm saying? So maybe he might have been sleeping from being out all night and probably get some rest. I'll check on him later. But great job, everybody, as always. Let's meet back here on Tuesday. I'll think of something. We'll put something up and we'll talk about it and we'll see what's happening. But I'm going to close it out. Thank y'all. Appreciate y'all. Remember everybody in your prayers. Remember Jerome. Remember Brother Jerome in your prayers. Remember No Captivity with Freezy in your prayers. Remember Risa Neal's people in your prayers. Remember everybody in your prayers. Those of us that pray for people. All right, y'all. I will see y'all on Tuesday. Thank y'all for coming and spending Sunday with us. Appreciate y'all. Peace.